Go back online.
Is Neil coming for tonight's meeting or no?
So Neil's wife got her finger slammed in a door at school today by a student, and it's broke. So he's been in the ER and dealing with that.
Nice.
He will be here at some point.
You're doing highway first, right?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and give you, I mean, this is for tonight's meeting as well. But... Hold on, I left them in the ground.
Okay. Are we back online then?
Give me a second.
Are we back online?
Yes.
Okay, welcome back. Continuing day 3. As a reminder,
Part B?
yeah, part B. Budget hearings are just informational. The actual budget will not be voted upon until October meeting.
Well, she's here for the highway.
Just in time for the highway. Uh-oh.
Terry Tom put you through your paces, did he?
Everything.
That's good.
Neil, I heard you had an eventful day today.
Oh, well, I didn't.
Well, I mean, family.
Somebody else. I told him I had an iPhone. He thought I said a knife. So there's a big difference.
He went on high alert when you said that.
I
Good.
got the full
Full pat down.
full body search there.
Honestly, before you go into highway, these are the documents that the commissioner said they present to you. These are the updated job descriptions for the foremans, the highway administrator, which is no longer administrative assistant. It'll be the administrator of the department, and then the highway board of directors. So you can just pass them all down, right? There should be one for each council member.
Thank you.
Defer to Tia coming up here if you want.
The beginning, just starting on.
Yeah, we're just starting.
The highway, yes.
Do you have a certain page you want to start on?
Nope, doesn't matter to me. This was done before our superintendent had left, so this was a budget that was already submitted before our realignment for the highway department. So we can start whatever page you want and go down.
I don't know. Maybe 1176.
Okay.
What you got? Oh, I thought you.
1176, 530.
5:30?
Yep. Highway admin.
So this page would obviously change because the superintendent's no longer there.
Right.
So, and then there were proposed changes to the foreman, and then you calling that position administrative admin.
So the administrator would just be the administrator of the highway department, so just scratch off assistant.
Okay, just leave it administrative.
Yeah, we're gonna call her the administrator of the highway department, highway administrator.
So just for reference, that number will have to change
Yes, so
because we use administrative assistants in other offices, and that's just one.
Okay.
The 1209 is just basic.
sure.
Change. And then we can call it highway administrator.
Yep.
So what new numbers do you want to put in the 2026?
All right, so from the superintendent line, this old salary was $60,500. We would like to take the foremans and the highway administrator and make them equal pay for all 4 positions at $50,500. So for your foremans, I think they're currently at 46.3 maybe, I think.
Divided by 3. Got it.
Because on our budget sheets, all 3 are listed as 1. So the total highway foreman line would be $151,500.
And the highway administrator would also be $50,500, and even with that, we'll be returning over half of the superintendent's salary back to the county, as well as, insurance and benefits as well.
So there's the 50,500, that includes this ERC stipend though, right?
Yes.
So we do need to separate that back out, because it's on a different line.
Okay, yeah, so just subtract 2,500 from the 55.
Okay, so that, on your budget sheet, it'll say ERC 2,500, and then highway administrator 48.
I haven't read, you just handed them out to us, but is the ERC in the job description for that position?
For the highway administrator and for all three foremen as well. So that way, if, like we had the issue with Kylie leaving, we had no other ERC certified, so this way going forward, there will be 4, so there is some redundancy in place.
Okay, so the 2,500 is just
Strictly,
removed?
well, the 2,500, I mean, it doesn't matter how you want to do it, so you can either
Or split.
include that in.
So T is predominantly, you're doing all the ERC work,
Yeah,
they're just your
the foremans
backups.
are just a backup.
But they have to be certified,
They
so
yeah,
you're
they're-
requiring them to be certified, but not
Yes.
actually doing the work
Just
right now.
basically, if something happens to me and they need to get on the computer to pull something off in a crunch,
Mhm.
they would be able to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have all the actual job
Yeah, so
responsibilities.
the job responsibilities will lay in the highway administrator, but in the case that she's on vacation or she leaves and, doesn't like us anymore, and just
Should we leave it in?
I would still leave it separate,
Separate? Okay.
because that way if one of the foremen predominantly then takes it over, if
Then
Steve
we
wasn't
can-
here,
then we can
you
change
can
that.
give
There
that.
can only be one.
Yeah.
Whoever's on record with the state, can't have anybody else do it.
But can we switch that if they're certified?
You gotta let them know. You mean
Yeah.
like for a day
Yeah.
or something, or for
Well,
like
like if she got
permanent?
like sick or something,
Yeah, you'd have to notify them.
or like took a long-term leave of absence, we
Yeah,
could
because
switch.
if they start getting emails from somebody they're not familiar with, they won't communicate with
Yeah.
you, so. It's gotta be,
I'd say leave it
Just want to
separate.
clarify. Yeah.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, and overtime still at 10,000. The only other increase on that page was $100 for drug testing, so.
Yeah, and that just, like we discussed with, if there's accidents or something, you're bound to do that, so.
Alright,
Do you do,
Random screenings come out of that too.
Yeah.
see, I thought you did random
We
screenings.
do random, but we might go
Do
over
you-
if,
do you
say, community
wanna
record
take
truck
the
or something.
time to kind of highlight the job descriptions of how that's gonna work? I
If
mean,
you want to now or do it at the council meeting tonight, don't matter to me, because that's for the resolution tonight, so.
since we're on the highway department, you just wanna do it now?
Sure.
I mean, is that okay?
So I think I would probably start with board of directors, if that's all right, just because that's kind of gonna lay out how it's gonna work.
just as a point, we may have to do it both, just considering some may watch this, but not that one, or vice versa.
Yeah, or we can refer to this video if they wanna pull it back up, I guess, but, I mean, technically,
So I won't read through the entire highway
Yeah.
board of directors thing, but I'll give you some of the highlights. So essentially, Neil had kind of brought this up to me, and I thought it was a good idea. The highway board of directors will consist of all 3 highway foremans and the highway administrator. Since our superintendent has left, they've been meeting weekly. They're still acting as one cohesive unit of government. This isn't, 1, 2, and 3. So every week, they meet, they discuss plans for the future, they discuss, what are we gonna do here, how much money are we spending, Tia confirms all that. As an example, one of the foremen said, can I go buy some cones, which is the same process when he called Mike to say, hey, can I go to Menards and pick something up? Tia's still there as administrator weekly to verify all those purchases. So we feel very confident with this, and as you read through this, you'll see that, we set a money amount of 15,000, anything above 15,000 will come before the Board of Commissioners for approval. And Mike pretty much used that number, maybe a little less, maybe 12, but anything major purchases wise, like assets, they have to be approved by us anyway, so they will still come before the board. But yeah, we feel very confident with this. They've been operating, for a couple months now like this, and they speak very highly of it. And we entrust our employees, and yeah, we feel confident with the structure we put in place. And then as you go through the job descriptions, you'll see that a lot of things are really itemized out through there, what we expect of them. The administrator one, we had none. Even when Mike was there, we had none, so we started from scratch with that one. But, everything's lined out, and if we did miss something, we'll amend it going forward. But we feel pretty confident with, a couple of those are several pages long, so. Any questions?
I just, it says required weekly meetings.
Mhm.
What if they don't have them?
Well, they have them every week.
What if they don't have them, is what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
well, I'm saying-
How's that? How do you plan next week if they don't have that meeting? I mean,
I don't know that
will they
will
have a meeting
every week.
even though there's,
They should be having meetings every
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
That is the agreement.
that's the expectation?
That is the expectation. They should be having meetings every single week to discuss what's going on. So then we can figure out what are your needs, what are the issues, what can we address, how can we work together to make it happen.
And I think, Rick, a little bit to that point, you know, they don't have set days because like this week's hot mix paving, so they're helping with traffic control with that. So every week, they'll say, hey, does Monday work next week on a Friday? Sure it does. Well, next week maybe a Wednesday, but they normally predominantly do it in the mornings. I think, what, 7 to you? Usually morning meetings, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we usually do them. They get their guys out and then they come down.
Yeah, then they
after
come
get them out,
down.
So it's usually between 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
So that's a
Are they on the
daily,
clock at
that's a,
that
di-
I'm sorry, Rick,
go ahead.
I was just saying, when the meetings are in session for that, they're on the clock?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not always, I've seen people require people to be at meetings when they're not on the clock to plan, and it's not, you can't do that, so I'm just making sure that they.
yeah, they're doing it within their working hours, yeah.
So they're daily meetings or is it a
Weekly.
Weekly.
It's a weekly meeting projecting
They
1 or
kind of-
2 weeks out of what material needs that they're gonna need.
Well, that and even planning for the future, they had a meeting, you know, they talked about the community crossings grant for next year. They met with HWC Engineering, went through the plans for all that. So it's anything. I mean, it's day-to-day stuff. It's, hey, are you berming next week? All right, I need 6 guys. All right, take these 6, you know. So it's everything from the day-to-day operations to future planning. So it's all the
Keeps everybody on the same team.
same
Yeah,
team.
okay.
I mean, so like I said, you may see all 19 guys in Clinton one day because they need them, and then a week later they may be down in Helt Township doing something. So the 3 of them really like it. You know, Tia keeps everybody, you know, make sure they're there. So I mean, we feel really confident. We've heard nothing but good things from everybody involved. So.
Now, the supervisors they're county supervisors, so they're not, I mean, typically they would be in an area usually, but they could be switched to a different area or the whole county.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, as the whole, you know, idea of this board of directors are their county board of directors. They're not, you know, District 1, 2, 3. Now, granted, they are respective from those areas, but you know, if they need to rotate down to an area, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I just always thought it would be good that since they're all 3 responsible equally, they should all 3 know every road,
Sure.
every corner of the county, if
Absolutely.
you will.
I think it's gonna help develop the vision plan that you'll hear, you'll see about in the job description. Because we're we would like to see visionary done, and I mean, for me, the 5 to 6 year plan is really kind of where we're going towards. So eventually I'd like to see a 20-year plan, but at this point, we gotta start small, so here we go. And I think this is gonna collaborate the team and bring it together and make it one unit, so.
So do you have one person on call during the week or just, how do you have emergencies set up?
So in the job description, you'll see with the highway administrator, Tia is the first contact person for emergencies. And even when Mike was here, the jail called out all 3 foremen and Mike. I mean, there's a system at the jail that if somebody doesn't answer the phone, they go to the next call out. So they have all 4 of their phone numbers, and it starts at 1 and it just works its way down. And if they can't get a hold of them, then the commissioners get called after that. So hopefully one of them 4 answer before they get to us.
And if you guys don't answer, they start calling council or what?
Yeah, maybe hey, good idea, Neil. Maybe I'll put you guys.
You're first. You're top.
Maybe I'll put Neil above me on the call out sheet.
Highway's a.
Yeah, your experience.
All right. If there's any questions, I go back to the budget if you guys want to. I mean, we'll discuss this some more at the actual council meeting. That way people are watching it.
Good plan.
Thank you, Gil.
All right, then the next page. So 1176-0531 is highway maintenance and repair. This truck driver, single hand, salt gravel signs.
How many truck drivers do you have? That's what they're called on this sheet.
Tia is at 19.
Is it 19?
There's 19 total.
19.
That's including the foreman.
So I guess it'd be 16 then total.
So that's 45.9.
And that was something else too with that, discrepancy from the foreman pay to that. Used to, it was like 72 cents. So now they've actually got a little bit of bump in pay. They've taken on more responsibility. So I think that's definitely well warranted that they're giving a little bit of an increase, and in return, we're asking them to do a little bit more.
And
So,
the 3 foremen have take-home trucks.
yes,
Does anyone else have take-home trucks?
not to my knowledge. I think each garage has 2 pickup trucks. Now I won't tell you, like in the wintertime, a lot of them will actually take the plow
So that's-
trucks home, but that's not a take-home.
It's a slight bonus then to have the truck too then,
Yeah,
on top of the pay increase.
yeah.
They usually get a report that as like income. It's worth a certain amount each day, and they'll be taxed on that. It's a benefit.
Yeah,
At least that's how it should be. I mean,
yeah, the only ones that aren't, I believe, are sheriff's department, are the only ones that are carved out from
Yeah.
that. But anybody else that has one is, I forget what, it's in there though.
it doesn't calculate to much. I mean, it's like worth like $3 a day or something of income it's considered, or it's not.
I think it goes by
Not
make
long.
and model and year, sometimes it's
Yeah,
not.
but no, you're right, though, it's reported on.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's above and beyond the salary.
Yes.
I think
I
it
would
is.
assume it
There's a
is,
special
yeah.
line items
Yeah.
there's on the pay stub for that. I
Yeah.
don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
I have a question on that, just for future maybe thoughts. Do you have any intention in staggering, I don't know how to say this, like what they do? Like,
Rotating?
I can run this, so I should get paid.
Yeah, I
this.
think, I think there's been some discussion.
Qualifications, I guess, I don't know
Yeah,
how-
among the commissioners, when you're hired, you're a Class B CDL driver minimum, right? They're all expected to operate the loader, the backhoe, stuff like that, but to your point, I think there's a tiered system
Yeah, thank you.
you could move to and say, all right, Rick here is a, tier 1 operator, which means he can run the grader,
I'm just a flagger.
so, and then it also could incentivize county employees to say, like Brenda, if you're tier 3 and you want to get to tier 2, all right, we'll get your certification in grading, Yeah, I think you could, and then you would you could have laborers as maybe tier 3, and then your heavy duty operators are tier 1.
I
But
just didn't know if you guys had ever thought about.
we
doing
thought about,
anything
yeah,
like
we
that.
talked to Mike about that a little bit before he left, and he was, Mike was, he was kind of either way on it, didn't really care, because you're going to end up spending a little bit more money, because if you're going to give them tier 1, you might have to give them $500 bump, $1,000 bump, whatever that is. Now, I can't tell you all 19 guys can run a grader, because it's a pretty specialized piece of equipment.
Typically, you might only have a certain number of people that could be tier 1.
Oh, that could be too. You could just
say
say,
like only 8.
yeah. And my concern would be, what if all 19 wanted to be tier 1
Well,
operators?
they can. I mean, that's typically how it would be in a plant or somewhere
Mhm.
like that. Once your Class A operators or whatever are full, you gotta wait.
You
It's
gotta
just
wait.
the way it
And that
is.
could be something too. We can go through the 19, and we may only have 5 guys that want to be tier 1 operator. I mean, I'm not in the day-to-day, so I don't
Now,
know.
sometimes in plants, like people will be like a Class B operator. I'm just using some term, and then maybe one day an A person is sick and they have to fill in and they can do it. They'll get to pay that day
For that day.
for that. But they would have to code it that way.
Sure.
But
Yeah, that's a good
No,
idea.
I mean, yeah, if you guys are open to something like that, we'd be more than happy to
Incentivize growth.
look at them, because we have some employees that are maybe just content being.
some are Class A drivers too, tractor trailer. They would have to be. They've
I
got-
think we have a lot of them just because they're also farmers, so a lot of them have their Class A anyway, and they keep that up.
I think it'd be a motivator.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, try to,
Just a thought.
Tier system, sure. I'll work on that and get that back to you guys. And you said like there would only be so many for each tier.
Well, I'm just saying that it would be. I mean, typically you wouldn't want everyone to be
No.
a heavy duty operator, and you only have 4 pieces of equipment. I mean, because you have a bunch of people getting paid all that extra
I just don't know
money.
what that number is. Is it 3?
I don't know. I mean, it would be determined by area. You might say, well, we only have 2 pieces of equipment, so I only need 3 or 4 or
Okay.
something
All right.
in this area. Maybe I need more in that area, but there would be a number of set at that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll work on that and get that.
And
to
it
you
would be
guys.
like a promotion, sort of.
Yeah.
I think you incentivize them to improve.
But then again, they would also be the ones that when you have to do that kind of work, they have to do that
They
work.
have to
You
do it,
can't
yeah.
say, well, I just rather drive a truck today.
Yeah.
You can't. You gotta do
You're
your
gonna have
job.
to do your job today. I'm with you.
Anything else on 1176 531? Yes.
Highway gets very confusing
Mhm.
because DLGF, and for budgeting purposes, DLGF makes it combine it into one fund for budgeting purposes.
Yes.
I was trying to go through, and then we have it broken down on the budget into these different locations for different things. But they do have, what I realized there was a typo in one of the documents I gave you, and when I was looking at this, the highway unrestricted, the 1176, it has a fund balance as of June 30th about $475,000, which you then have to add to the, it's like 900,000 or something that 1173 has.
Yep.
So it actually, those two combined have like a $1.3 million balance, but you can only use some of certain things and some of other things. But 1176, the unrestricted has about a $475,000 balance. The proposed budget for next year is total, I think, of $1,382,000.
That's what I had, 183.
Revenues next year are going to be $1,227,000 and change. So there's about $150,000 budget over revenues. Now, it has a balance. They probably won't spend all that, so it's not the end of the world. But it does get a little confusing when you try to look at it, plus I had a mistake. 1173, which is the restricted money, it is also budgeted beyond its revenues by maybe 100,000 or so. Again, there probably won't, if they spend all that, their balance is going to go down. If they spend 90% for, so their budget will just be floating even.
What was the revenues on the 73?
73 is going to be $1,037,000 and change.
That one
The
was-
difference
that
between
one
the
wasn't,
revenues.
that one wasn't as big of a difference.
It's not as big a difference, no. Both these funds split the gas tax money. Gas tax money next year is going to be $2,075,000. That number is just a little bit more than it was last year, not hardly any at all. The biggest difference between 76 and 73 when it comes to revenue is all of the surtax for wheel tax that we collect goes into 1176. That's close to 200,000 a year.
That's the 1176 is unrestricted.
Unrestricted, yeah. That's where we pay people from and pay for supplies and things, because they have restricted that a little bit. Now, was there a change this year? Am I making that up?
What?
Or maybe it comes into effect next year on the ratio? I thought it may have gone to 60-40.
Which way?
The way we
The good way?
I was gonna say,
The way we want it to
oh
go?
boy.
That's
So-
surprising.
Yeah.
But there were all sorts of, there were some changes. It was part of that bill that they did to change how like community crossings grants work. You can get more community crossing grant money now, but you
Giving
have
less.
to have an active paving asset management plan, which the county does. But that is something we need to probably look at, because it may be possible to put those revenues differently. I haven't gotten into that yet. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just wanted to see the big picture before you get into the,
1173, I got it to $22,000 deficit.
it's not much.
So we're at that.
Okay,
that's
yeah, it's not
enough.
much. The other one has a bigger one, but again, there is a cash balance there, so.
Also, I think it's worth noting that I think like transfers between the two can go one way, but probably not the other. I can't remember there were some rules on whether you could
Let's see if I can
transfer.
find that well.
I think it's out of the non-restricted into the restricted.
Yeah, if it fell short. But another thing to consider, and I'll just be brief, it's worth everything to look at the restrictions on the the restricted fund. And what I mean by that is it's a very specific set of things that you could do with that fund. They're important things, road maintenance, preservation, reconstruction, those kinds of things. But within those three categories are subcategories. And many of those subcategories may fall into something that you're going to do today anyway. So you could pay a salary portion out of that if they're going to mow around a bridge today. Even though they're out mowing roads, that may not be part of it. But if they're going to mow around a bridge, they document that. You can pay a portion of their salary. So that way you don't use all the unrestricted money up too quickly and then wonder, what are we going to do with all the restricted money? We'll just use it for paving. So I guess my point is that research the details of the restricted fund usage and find out what all those codes are, because there are several. It's not just paving roads. It's a lot of different
And
things.
it used to be 50-50, and when I talked to State Board of Accounts, we changed it, we're like, it's
So we
really
didn't
not
have
50,
enough documentation.
because we didn't
for
have the
them to show.
documentation, so then we went 60-40, and even though it was closer, they still didn't like it. That was part of the reason for the automated timekeeping system, because that would have tracked that for us, and we could have paid out whatever.
That's the
we needed.
important thing, is the tracking of where it
But
went.
That's why we moved it all over to the 1176, so we didn't
And
have.
it becomes more difficult when you're doing time cards with someone to say, well, I spent 2 hours doing this, 3 hours doing that, 4 hours doing restricted mowing, you know. But if you do that, you can use a lot of that restricted funds for things that normally doesn't seem like it. And I read the list once and was kind of surprised at all the things they do let you do with it that doesn't seem intuitive to the word restricted, so.
Well, hopefully they lighten up at the state level.
I think I'm looking at, I think it starts next year, what I saw.
26.
So I'll read it some more here, but, so next year, when you're doing the highway budget, we probably need to look at that again, and we worked really hard last year to try and figure out where to pay things from, and I think we kind of kept that same pattern mostly with this year's budget, but next year there may be a little bit more flexibility.
And just as a side note too, some counties don't use the unrestricted money at all for salary. They don't use any of the NVH for salaries. Some,
Property tax.
I think, I can't remember if it's Edit maybe?
It's
They can
across,
do that, yeah.
when
Sullivan
I
County
checked
might.
across the board, and there's no rhyme or reason. Some people paid out
Yeah,
of
there were
general,
some counties
people out of
that they got
1176.
tired of trying to figure out how to balance that, so they just said, let's just pay it all out of X, Y, Z and not worry about it, so.
Okay.
I have a question on this one here. I noticed there was an email from George Smith, and it affected the liability and casualty insurance and workman's comp. Were his recommendations taken into
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
they
on,
consideration
they're
for
on
this?
the 533 one.
Oh, okay. But they were,
There's another page of
Oh,
1176.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. It's split up.
okay.
You're,
Thank
yep,
Why can't it just have one number?
I don't know. So going on to the next page of 1176 is the 533 budget, the highway general. That has the social security, Medicare, work comp, group insurance, unemployment perf.
Did you guys,
And those numbers will have to be adjusted with the new foreman
Yep.
admin changes.
so did you already discuss 531? I had to step out.
Oh, yes.
We did.
You did?
Uh-huh.
So the grant match, did you guys discuss that?
1176, 531?
1173, 5.
No.
No, we haven't.
Okay, I haven't got there. Okay,
We're still at 1176.
okay, no problem.
All right. So any questions in total between the 3 pages of Fund 1176? All right, we'll switch funds then. All right, now to 1173, which is the restricted,
531.
531.
That's
Yeah,
all we got.
Let me clarify that.
The other ones are.
Yep, so. And this is the restricted money we just talked about, where you can see where the truck drivers were paid in 2024, not in 25 or 26, so.
Oh, I did the wrong number. I misquoted that 22,000. I was looking at 2025's budget.
22.
It's still not.
This one has gravel, bituminous, other contractual services, lease equipment, and the grant match. Do you have a question on the grant match, Rick?
I was just gonna question a few things, but I was just curious about the grant match. There's a $100,000 increase. I was just curious.
It is not an increase. I'll clarify that.
Okay,
In the past, it was taken out of 2 different funds, and it was actually,
Certified chairs.
yeah, okay. And it was 500,000.
okay,
But with what Scott was talking about, the way they've changed the grant, it's not as, you don't need as much, so we only need 400,000, so we just took it out of one spot.
okay, and that's what I missed, because I knew it used to be 500,000.
Yep.
So,
The state lowered the amount.
Yep.
And did we get that this year?
Yeah, they're actually paving right now. They're working on I-74, and then we'll migrate south next week into Hell Township area, and then finish up in District 1. So they're working south.
They're
So
doing
I
a
think
good job.
I haven't drove on it yet, but they're hitting right in farm season too. They were going to try to do it before they got the
I
crops
see them at
out.
7, 8 o'clock at night doing it.
Yeah, Ruth Riley's really doing a good job.
So, Rick, the grant match, we've done it a lot of ways, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
It's all come out of highway, it's all come out of certified. I think when we very first started, like, we've done half and half, 2/3, 1/3, I don't know, there's been a lot of combinations over
Wherever
the
we
years.
find money.
It's kind of wherever we can fit it.
Thing of it is, we just make sure we got it budgeted
Yes.
Yeah, we,
and enough.
What's the total accurate amount then for the grant match, no matter where it comes from? What do we-
400,000.
400. And it only shows up here. Right. This is the only
yeah,
place.
this is
it-
the only
Yes.
spot listed.
And that grant match would be community crossing, paving, bridges, whatever the community crossing provides.
Yeah, so,
75-25? Is that what that is?
For rural counties like this, I think
What's
so.
the match? 25-75?
Yeah, they've changed some of the stuff this year. So like it used to be, there was 2 calls in it, and they've switched it to 1 call. And then this year the call is like, is it October 1st, November 1st?
It opens October 1st and goes to.
And then next year it's got to be due by July.
which is crazy, because that's before
I
budget's
think-
in.
So they're switching, yeah, so this year they're doing October, and then next year it'll be like June or July, and then from that point on, it'll be in the middle of the year for your deadline. So for budgeting purposes, you're gonna get hit, in theory, twice for that first year. But I think there's gonna be a reduction in people who get
When-
awarded money.
When
this
do you
year.
have to put the match money? Is that when they award it, or after the work's completed? How do they?
After
After
it's
it's-
completed.
80-20 is what it is.
80-20?
80 from the state, 20 to us, 20% from us.
Well,
So
2 million then.
There may be a max, I don't remember. I'm trying to.
That goes a long way.
It does, yeah, so they're working on that plan right now. HWC plans on submitting that before the end of the deadline this year for next year, 2026.
There are some qualifications to qualify for that. I don't know if we meet those. You have to have a paving asset management plan, and then I believe there's something about you can't have so many roads that are rated crappy.
They've got this, it's the Payzer rating system,
Yeah.
and in the beginning, a lot of counties just went around and rated everything like zeros. But like you can't have they won't let you put money on like a 8 road, if it's rated an 8, you can't put hot mix overlay on an 8. So you just have to make sure your plan's updated, but some counties didn't do that, they just went through and blanketed everything the same, and now they're gonna be a little more particular on it. So you just as a county have to make sure your ratings are correct on the roads.
So like 10 would be a brand new road, but that only lasts for 1 year. You can only be a 10 for a year, for
Yeah.
example. After that, it's considered a 1-year-old road. It'd be a 9 at best. But then it goes down from there. With roads that you commonly see, you have like alligator cracks and stuff. You're getting down into the 3s and the 4s in that range, when that's considered failure.
Yeah.
All the way down to 0 where it's crumbled.
So I think they might reject applications if
What's-
somebody,
what's in
puts in
the
a 7 and says it's got
Uh,
alligator
one
cracks, and they come and
year,
check it and it doesn't.
No, you could
You just wanna make sure your
7 for a
ratings are
long, long
correct.
time.
We
It's just-
we
So
feel
where's,
confident.
where's the
But it
money
can only be a
for, where is
brand
it,
new road for 1
HWC?
year.
Is that who you say is doing it?
Yeah.
now?
Paved all your roads
We got
this
money
year, you got
budgeted
all
for them
10.
to-
Yeah, so,
Okay.
so that was, if you remember, Melissa Weibel in the grant services in the past. The
So that's
commission-
coming out of that line item?
Yeah, so we reached out to Melissa Weibel on multiple occasions, didn't get a new proposal sent in, and since we knew this was moving forward, we reached out to a couple firms. HWC came in and quoted actually for the entire thing, I don't have the number in front of me, but I want to say 23,000. And with Melissa and the grant administration from Clark Dietz this year, I think it's like 35.
Okay,
So we're saving $12,000 with
That's-
HWC doing.
so that's that 95,000, the other contract services, that's where, I know that's
I
where.
wouldn't, you have to look to see
It is.
exactly, but yeah, if it is.
I just remember,
So it's coming from the same line
Yeah,
item,
okay.
so that's a savings of, I think, 13,000
For what?
for the application for community
Oh,
crossing grant and the grant administration. So then this year it's Clark Dietz, they'll go out and inspect the roads, and
Do you guys don't do your own pacer ratings?
we do, yeah. So the county done that years ago, but to inspect the work, to
Oh.
okay the payment to Ruth Riley, they go out and inspect to make sure they laid the asphalt
Yeah.
where they were supposed to.
But you guys do your own, you've taken the PACER courses and
I haven't, but the
the
highway.
superintendents
Yeah.
rate their own.
Well, like earlier this year, they had a PASER class down
Yeah.
in Terre Haute that they attended, or a majority of people attended anyway. But yeah, that's the whole thing, getting your ratings correct, you know, the alligator cracks and such.
Yeah, I was gonna say, some counties will hire some consultant to do that
Yeah.
as well, but it's kind of like easy to do. If
Yeah,
you-
we've already got it, and I think when they first done it years ago, when former Commissioner Yoakum went out, I think they and the highway crews back then done a really good job rating them from 2s to 9s all the way through. So I think we're in a much better situation than other counties.
Anything else for restricted?
Well,
Nope, okay. Local road and street. It says last year we had revenue about 240,000.
Balance is 335 as of 7/31.
It says
We got
Scott had about revenues of 253. So that one may have to go down in
I think his was before. I think
Which
his
one were
is
you talking
June
about?
date.
local road and street.
Is yours a June date?
LRS, yeah.
I mean, there's some balance in there from previous, so.
The revenue is what the state has told us to give us.
Okay. So, I mean, you have a current balance in there. I guess as long as you don't spend it all this year that you have left in it, it'll still be enough to,
Sure.
which that isn't one you always spend anyways.
They don't use.
No, it's kind of back burner. It's 50% as of July 31st.
50% of it.
And I'm pretty sure on that, if I recall from previous, if there would need to be some kind of reduction, it would have to be road materials.
Okay.
Because your lease equipment is probably right on.
Yep.
Okay, anything else on that one? Okay. Next, about Cover Bridge. That one we just have in there every year at 10,000.
Yeah, and this I'll talk to you a little bit about tonight at the council meeting as well. Before the superintendent left, he authorized some funding to come out of this. It's either 4,000 or 3,500. If you know where the Eugene Covered Bridge is at over the Big Vermilion River, there's some washout going on along the embankment there. And Mike had met with some highway crews and Steve Axel, president of the Historical Society. And we're going to eventually rip some of that wall next to the river, but to do that, you have to apply for a $7,000 or $8,000 DNR permit. So he is using some of the money out of this, where the highway is, and the other half, or 40%, Steve's coming tonight to ask for that approval for that as well. So just to give you a little bit of
Who
backstory.
owns the bridge?
Commissioner did it,
Is
so.
it used like a highway bridge?
No, it's no longer in vehicle use.
it's a walking bridge, so to speak.
Scott, what's the balance on that, you know?
G Bridge?
No,
Covered
Covered
Bridge.
Oh, Cover Bridge, I just looked that up.
We have, okay, as of the end of
What do I have
July,
on there?
there was 36,000.
I walked through that bridge the other day. The roof needs repaired, I think
How
some
many
decking needs
Cover Bridge do you
done.
have?
We really need,
Three?
I haven't walked through the Newport Bridge, but I intend to.
37, yeah.
We really need to kind of spend some money on it, or at least allocate some money towards that.
I did find the statute, this question was asked about this appropriation for tonight's meeting, and there's a state statute, you get so much per bridge, it's 5,500 maybe, or something
Yeah,
like
could be
that,
out.
per covered bridge. So,
And how much did you say was in the account?
37,
No, unfortunately, I think to like paint some of those, you might eat up quite a bit of that on the paint, but we can check and quote it. But I know before we've had some little work done to the Eugene Covered Bridge, just
Yes.
replacing
Haven't
boards.
done too much
Have we
in the last few
considered
years.
paying the whole cost?
Yeah.
Like, so the Convention and Tourism Fund doesn't have a whole lot. They've got like
Well, that was
96
just Mike's record. When he was here, he
Right.
just said he didn't want
So
to.
they've got $9,600. So something to think about before tonight's meeting is if maybe our funds can pay just to get that done versus.
We
taking
can,
some money.
Mike just said he didn't want to allocate, you know, when the Historical Society said that they believed it was a historical structure, they wanted to pitch in a little bit, so.
They've also typically come back and
They
needed
struggle.
expenses at the end of the year.
Do they?
I'm afraid that
Yeah.
I don't want to cut themselves short at the end of the year.
That's
if
fine,
they
we can pay it
have
out of that,
some-
that was just, you know, we deferred to Mike at the time, so.
might think about it. Let
No,
us
that's
know.
fine, we can do that if you guys, I'll call Steve and tell him you don't have to come tonight at 6:30, because he was planning on coming tonight, so.
So, do we have any plans for these historical, I mean, who's taking the lead on that, I guess?
Well, that'll be, again, the meetings with the highway board of directors, the commissioners, but historically, even when they're superintendent, I think some of those covered bridges have been neglected. I think they do their best on tree trimming to make sure no trees fall in, but that's probably the extent of the work they've done. But I would like to get the Eugene one done nice. We've got a kayak launch up the road now, so
Yeah,
some
that's-
people are gonna start using it.
That's the reason why I kind of walked through it the other day a little bit,
Yeah.
just kind of walking around.
Yeah,
How much did you
Guys,
say that total was for the project with the split?
I think it's 7,500 for the permit, and I think whatever they put on their additional was what
So the 10 was budgeted, 750's been spent so far this year, so there's still enough to pay for it.
To pay for it?
okay, all right, sure.
What's
We'll
the
just- we'll-
DNR's charging how much for a permit?
I think it's $7,500.
That doesn't sound right for them to,
Well, not DNR, I take that back. For a firm to submit the permit to DNR, $7,500, let me correct.
to do all the.
Let me
okay,
do all-
'cause I was
yeah,
gonna
do all
say,
the work, yeah.
DNR shouldn't be
Yeah,
charging
no.
us
Let me rephrase that,
$7,500
no.
to work on our
Yeah.
historical.
We looked at doing the work,
That's a
and
problem.
and Mike, and at the time Mike goes, I'm not, doing all this work to do that, so he called a firm, and I think it was 7,500 to do it.
Yeah, I don't know what all is involved in that, but I'm sure it's somewhat complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he said some
I'm sure
counties
it
just
is.
go dump rip and ask for forgiveness later, but I don't think we want to do that, so.
It's not,
So
So
you'll call
I-
Steve and let him know?
Yeah, I'll call Steve, yeah.
okay.
I've done that before.
Somebody may want to look at the Newport Bridge too.
It's still a vehicle
Where are,
bridge too.
just for
Yeah, and
reference,
it's a
the
vehicle
3
bridge.
covered bridges where they're located.
You've got one in Eugene, one outside Newport here, and it's still transportation traffic. I think it's a single lane, I don't think it's
Yeah.
two. And then the third one, does it sit at Ernie Pond, or not Ernie Pond, but on
Park?
71?
Yeah, the
The rest
project.
It's our park, so
It's
it's not,
36.
or 36, yeah. So it's just a walking, so really you've got one that's probably should be prioritized with the vehicle traffic first, but it's rated in the bridge, inspection reports, we, get reports on that one. But to Rick's point, to paint them and do some of the woodwork, we can check on that and see what that costs.
Okay.
Hardy,
Anything else?
I got another note, but I'll talk to you a little bit later today.
Okay.
All right, the last one, right? Cumulative bridge. And this comes from general fund, or not general fund, but property tax. It is a rate set in the property tax rate. So, Cume Bridge had a balance at June 30th of 1 million. However, that seems like a lot, but when any time a bridge project comes up, it goes very quickly. So, estimated revenues are around 400,000 a year. So, a lot of these are kind of like the bridge project is kind of just a number we put in there each year, so that way if a bridge project does come up, there is something budgeted. However, the $200,000 we have there is not really going to cut it much longer. Like,
I
some
talked
costs
to
have
Ashley, we've,
doubled.
with RQAW and several firms, we've identified, a few years ago, we started the 80/20 Federal Bridge Project. And the 5 bridges that are identified, the cheapest projected construction cost is 1.8 million. The most expensive, I think, is like 2.5. And the 2.5 is actually the worst rated bridge that they're recommending for 80/20. I went out and viewed it the other day, and of course, when you drive on it, you can't tell the difference. You got to get down in the creek and see the embankments and see the structure, superstructure of it. So yeah, that 200,000 probably definitely won't be enough.
Can someone go let Sean in from EAS? He's at the west door and it's locked, and he doesn't have a key fob.
Thank you, Pam.
Sorry, thank you.
Just as a side note, larger counties with more money have this exact same problem. It's not unique to Vermillion County or small counties. There is not enough cumulative bridge money available to do what's needed. We've got some bridges that have been damaged. They were damaged by heavy loads and they're closed or partially closed for several years now because the funds just aren't there. So it's a challenge.
I take that back, it was 2.6 for Bridge 28.
2.6 million.
2.660 is the actual.
And bridge prices have gone, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. do you plan on putting that on the federal list?
I think so. The commissioners, they've got some in their email today from a firm recommending that bridge. And to start that process, I think it's like $1,000 or $2,000 to start that for the application. But I do know these are what, Neil, 4 years out, I think?
Yeah, I mean, there's
So
a lot
this
of.
is like a 20,
It's
30
not
project or
yeah,
something?
there's environmental studies, there are different phases.
But I think our plan a few years ago was every year apply for a NOFA bridge, every year, if we could afford it that way, because there's no way County General could
How many
pay.
do we currently have on the list?
So they identified 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I mean, like, are currently on the federal list to be in process?
Oh, in process? I don't know off the top of my head,
I don't
Katie.
know.
I know we just finished bridge over Old 63 there in Hills,
122.
122. That was an expensive one. I feel like there's another one.
I know
maybe
there's at
bridge-
least one, maybe two more.
Yeah,
37's out there, but they're finished too, bridge 37.
37.
Oh, it's done?
Right now.
is it?
It's done?
It's not done.
Oh.
It was just awarded, I think, earlier this year for a construction management team
Okay.
for that.
So have we paid our 20% on that yet?
I'd have to chat.
I don't
No.
believe so.
I'll say the fund balance, I don't think we have, but
Yeah, but
was
like I said,
hoping.
I think we applied, and the previous board of commissioners, when we were here, I think every year we applied for one, so we'd like to continue that. 'Cause like I
it
said
might be
on
something
here,
we look at and see how many we have on the list, and then that way we can make sure we're keeping enough money in that fund to pay those
A
when they come up.
consultant actually just came in today, that Jeff
Mhm.
came in today, and he was talking about it, when NOFA is doing stuff, so we've got a little bit, I think December 1st
is
was
it,
when he said.
Yeah.
And he was giving me a couple of tips on where to look to find out exactly what I need to know.
Okay.
Sure.
I just wanna make sure we don't be like, oh, we have $1 million, and then, oh, wait, we forgot about these two
Yeah,
bridges.
these
that
two,
we-
yeah.
Don't forget too, that Cume Bridge is not specifically, I mean,
Thank you.
typically you would use cumulative bridge to build a new bridge, but it's also there for if you have damage or need a beam fixed or something,
Yeah.
or, so it can get used up in other ways besides 20% matches on grants or whatnot.
And we've had to use that recently for a bridge that got hit and damaged.
Yeah, and some counties use it for purchasing pipe.
Yep.
Which doesn't sound right, and I've had this conversation before with a lot of different people at a lot of different places, state and local and whatnot. And it's hard to determine exactly where pipe is supposed to be purchased
I was actually
from.
gonna ask you about that,
Yeah.
because Kylie left, Kylie mentioned to me that they used to use it out of Cume Bridge, and the more she read, she's like, I don't know if we should be doing that, you guys might wanna add.
It's expensive now.
She said you might wanna add like a culvert line in somewhere, so that was something. I was
And one of the,
thinking about.
well,
I
the
think it
major,
depends on the size of the culvert.
the problem is, well, technically bridges are anything 20 feet and over span, so you could have a 19-foot, what looks just like a bridge, but it's not considered a bridge, that's a culvert. But anyway, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that every county has this problem where they do not have any income for stormwater drainage, ditching and pipes. Yet it's the #1 call you're gonna get from people, the water issues, the sunken roads where the
Yep.
pipes are collapsed. But there's no money available for it. Some counties are looking at like a 5-cent tax on every
For
parcel in the
stormwater,
county a year to pay for drainage. Because there's no drainage taxes anywhere, at least around here. So.
Nope, I was wrong, we have one more sheet after that,
Yeah.
sorry. Highway capital improvement, this is the local
Can we
income
go back
tax.
to bridges?
Okay.
A couple of years ago, Scott brought up about raising the rate on King Bridge.
Yeah,
We didn't do anything this year, and if I recall, there was like 20 bridges in the state, or in the county that's on the state's list that I brought up. Nah, Tia, I assume you're maybe aware of it or not aware of it, but we really need to be planning on our bridges just a little bit more. I'm concerned.
Yeah, it is a concern, definitely, and the problem is that it's a very, very expensive concern.
Well, that's what the NOFA project's for, like I said, these 6 bridges they've identified, no matter who you have as an inspection team, you get that book every year, it rates the bridges every year. And like of the 6 here, 4 are full replacement and 2 of them are just rehabbing. But like I said, 28 on there, but again, like Neil said, even though we post, weight limit ton signage, nobody abides by them, and you have to catch them in the act doing it.
And even
'cause
then, you'd have to have ordinances and
You gotta have
sheriff's
all- I mean-
deputies, and it doesn't work.
Well, I guess what I'm also saying is I know Commissioner Britton I'm not sure exactly what, but he was able to find another grant or something that would help with this or help with that. I
That's
just
what
want to,
they're talking, that's
The
the
no-
NOFA grants.
yeah, I know.
That's what they're talking.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize that we need to be
Yeah.
really working on those.
Yeah, it's definitely, I often wonder, how did they get there in the first place? I guess,
How did they ever build them?
because they never had that kind of money to build them on day one, so how did they get there? But it
Well,
wasn't as
the other thing
expensive.
too is, if you remember what we did, coming back to drainage, Mike came and asked us for $250,000. We were able to find that to fix, I don't know, 10 culverts or something like
Yeah, it was
that.
like 400.
It was
wasn't
400 something.
400 something, yeah. So anyway, I mean, even if we can be creative along that lines, you know, money's gonna get tight. And
Yeah,
I don't want all this to accumulate and then we can't do anything.
And bridge maintenance too, like rinsing off the edges, getting the salt off of them, flushing the bearing pads off, weeds, growth around them. That stuff goes a long way in maintenance to preserve them. And that is one of the things that can be used by restricted use funds to preservation
Right.
of that structure. So that's something to keep in mind, but it's hard to do because you've got all these roads to take care of. There's a million potholes and paving and everything, and yet I gotta have a crew to go out and clean bridges all day. You know, it just depends on how many you got, how many people you can afford to do it, but it's worth it. It does preserve them, and that alone's worth a lot. Corrosion's bad, even on concrete bridges. Corrosion will get into the rebar and stuff just because of the salt.
Okay, we're kind of running behind here.
Okay.
There's
Wait.
one more. Highway capital improvement, it's from the local income tax. Estimated revenues are about 457,000. Those have gone down about 15,000 from last year, the previous year, 25, I guess. But there is a balance in the fund right now. These are accounts that we have in there. They don't typically spend them unless they need to, so that way if a project does come up that is larger, they do have that balance to do larger projects out of it. And they've been pretty good about saving their money in case something does come up. All right, anything else on highway?
Do you have anything else? No, nothing from
You did a
us.
fine job, Tia.
Yeah, that's good.
And nothing else for highway. Okay, commissioners are next.
I got a question here. Sean just walked in,
Yeah, do you want to,
and he's supposed to be at 5, and we are like 30 minutes behind. Could
Do
we
You wanna
skip
run
him?
IT real quick?
yeah,
Do you mind?
I don't care.
You're gonna be here for both anyway. You're here for the night.
I know,
Good call.
unfortunately.
sorry we locked you out.
Yep.
Oh, no, that's fine. Are you ready for me?
Yeah,
Yes,
you wanna come up
please.
here, Sean?
They're letting you jump ahead.
Well,
I told
actually, he's
I
supposed to be
appreciate that.
scheduled for
No, I
5.
did,
so-
but I told them, I said, down there, I said, we're gonna be another half an hour,
No.
45 minutes till we get to you.
No, ready whenever you guys are.
They're
Okay,
going on the.
IT, yeah, I know.
so the IT is predominantly in Cume Capital Development and then the sheriff, I was reading the line,
It's a
sorry.
long day.
The commissioner's court, they have a line, one line item in that.
And that's the one that I was questioning because it hadn't changed from last year.
It's, we don't have an updated
And I
contract.
we don't have an updated contract. I was,
But,
Yeah, me, Ashley, and Sean planned on meeting. We couldn't quite get the dates together, but I met with Sean. And I will say this for our IT, I do know we spend a lot of money on IT services. But I will tell you this, I was at a commissioner's, I won't say retreat, dinner, whatever. And there's a lot of counties that are spending $50,000 on IT, and then you could end up in the same boat as Clay County where the government shut down for 3 weeks and you're rebuilding everything. We've had some people come in and look at the, IT system, and their words was this was like the Taj Mahal of IT. That, that Sean has built here, so I'm reluctant to cut anything, when it comes to the contract per se, but I do think administratively we could maybe do something different. I spoke to Brenda and Ashley about some of that. And even Sean, because we're down to very little in that one account, so we've been a little bit more prudent on approving that, but we can talk that too about the administrative thing, because, the idea, Neil had mentioned at a council meeting about overtime, I think, going in individual budgets.
Yeah, it was an idea.
So on that idea, you know, the commissioners have briefly discussed this, was right now the IT budget is one big budget, right? So right now someone, you know, we have internal control. Sean helped us develop, what, seven internal control documents, you know, for the entire county. And what we had developed was, as long as the department had signed off on that purchase, it would be approved. And as you can see through the budget, you know, we went through, I don't even know how many thousands of dollars in purchases. I think for us, you know, the commissioners, you know, $20,000 a year, and I'm gonna lean on, you know, Sean, if he's telling me a laptop needs replaced, I'm not an IT person. You know, we don't have an IT person. We've reached out to people, and just like the same boat the old commissioners fell in, you can't find an IT person for less than 80 to 100,000, and then they still want EAS or Convergent anyway, so. I think a good idea might be looking at those bills, because I don't know who spent the majority of that money. I know the health department spent a very, very good chunk on some monitors.
But that wasn't that supposed to come out of their budget?
I think so, and that's where, you know, and I think that's where some of them,
Was
you
under the
know,
impression that was.
yeah, they were supposed to. We would like to see potential, you know, you give the commissioners of court X amount of dollars, and then maybe budget some of these department heads 5,000, 6,000, and they're gonna be very prudent with that money, knowing that they've gotta come back to you and ask for more money at the end of the year.
We had had it like that,
Yeah.
but then it was like so-and-so needed something more than others, and then we didn't have the money, and there was an additional, so that's why we kind of, in theory, would put it in one big pot, so that way it wasn't someone, well, I have the extra 3,000, I'm gonna get a new laptop this year, with maybe
Well,
so-and-so
I-
needs one more, so I don't know, I mean, is there a way, somewhere we can,
Well, for us, the problem is if the commissioners, for instance, if you say, leave us the 100,000 or 75,000, whatever it is, and you say every IT purchase has to be approved by the Board of Commissioners, that's fine, but me, Misty, and Bill, none of us are IT experts. So if Scott comes to the meeting and says, hey, Misty needs a new laptop, and I have a quote in front of me, I don't know how you want me to do more due diligence than what the IT provider and the department head's giving me. You know, so I think they're still gonna come. Yeah, we can make them jump through one more hoop, but I think if you looked at it and said, all right, like maybe the surveyor, for instance, he may only use $1,000 a year. Well, he doesn't, you know, if you give him that, maybe he'll use it or maybe he won't. I don't know. That was just some internal talks that I don't know that we have time to sit here and, well, not even the time, it's the expertise. I have no expertise in IT. I don't know if any of you guys do.
Could we do something and have parameters and state, because I mean, I've spoken to Sean before as well, because Kylie and I did a lot of the quarterly meetings. Britton was here part of the time he wasn't, but we still met with them. I would recommend parameters, and I've spoken to Sean about this, is like, okay, my idea, and I could be all wet, your servers, you know, back in the day, the mainframe, the firewall, all of that stuff, that's number one, period. But if somebody wants a laptop, you need to discern who needs what, how they need it, and maybe set up some parameters on how that is, because, for example, if we've got 20 machines that's getting ready to expire, the warranty's going out, okay, do we need 20 machines? Well, Sean, do we need 20, or can we extend the warranty? How can we, there's other options.
Yeah, I mean, we have a purchasing policy approved, and that was one of the 7. We have a cybersecurity policy, a purchasing policy. Sean, do you know? I mean,
yeah, I mean, what you've got, that's it. I mean, it's remote access policy. It's all the standard policies that any government should have that's related to IT.
So
You've got those in place now.
Yes, we've approved all those, but we're getting as the purchasing policy currently states, as long as a department head signs off on it. That's the barrier that we have in place now. So I mean, we can amend the purchasing policy to, you know, whatever we want, but what are we gonna amend it? Are we gonna amend it to say any purchase that you make over $500 must be, you know, Board of Commissioners approved? And then I'm just gonna defer to Sean, because I have no idea if you need a new speaker or.
Well, I mean, even your recommendations to Sean saying, you know, really, how long can do we just need an oil change, set new tires, you know, why do we need new every time?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Just trying to understand. So if somebody does want something new right now, does IT actually look at it?
So yeah, IT looks at Sean's just not gonna say, well, let's go buy him something new. I mean, they provide a quote and, you know, a proposal and everything. But right now, the commissioners implemented a I won't say stop order, but we said everything has to be board approved because we're trying to milk that 15,000 till the end of the year. You know, we were afraid that 15 would run out, and then say we did need that 15 for something.
Yeah, because
You
we
know,
had,
so
originally we had 80,000 in future IT upgrade. And then we had things like called material and supplies, equipment, maintenance and agreements. We put all those into one IT account. And we added something else, and I can't find it in my previous notes yet. It's in this binder, but we ended up with a total future IT upgrades of 206,000. That's where we're down to 15,000 right now.
that's what, yeah.
So we're rapidly going through it, and
So, I
that's,
mean, the commissioners are open to ideas if you guys want to, you know, work with us on some program, but we did implement the policy, as Sean said, he'd been working on for years, and we implemented every one of those. But for us, it's what, I mean, how do you want us to do it? And because we're not experienced or anywhere in that IT area to say, now I know our mainframe's good, but I mean, I know Sean said that we've got some servers or something coming up, just kind of like the jail,
Yeah.
I don't know what system that's
911.
called now, yeah. You know, that's a 20-year, but that's something that just needs to be done, you know, so.
May I?
Yeah, Sean.
We can be that extra layer, the BCIO layer, that when department head requests X, you can turn to us and say, do they really need this? And we'll tell you. Yes,
So
no,
that's what I was
maybe.
trying to get at. is
So
that-
that doesn't happen regularly today. We are available to give our opinion, but we kind of need permission to give that, to act in that authoritative manner. We're happy to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes it's, we might be able to get by just adding a little bit of juice to it. I can tell you, a lot of those PCs were purchased in 2019 for the big upgrade that happened in 2020. And so one of the things on here, you got about 10 PCs that can't move to Windows 11, that have to be replaced. But our recommendation is for 2026, for the rest, let's just put some Band-Aids on it, put some sticky tape, and if one of them fails, we just replace it as we go. And that's gonna be easier on the budget.
Yeah, and I think, Sean, that's something easy the commissioners can send you an email, just, you know, give that opinion and do that, because I know I've asked you and even David, like, hey, does the jail need this? And he's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, because he's like, this has failed, you know, so. But it's just repetitive us asking if they need it, because I don't, you know, I just don't know.
I want you to. We want you to repetitively ask. And we will give our honest answer. There are times things aren't needed.
Okay.
we appreciate the honesty on that. Because
That's a lot of money.
I requested a new laptop at work this year because I had mine in airplane mode and didn't realize it. IT looked at it, and they couldn't figure it out either. So I ended up with a new laptop.
I didn't know you could
And
do
then
that
we-
with a laptop.
We were looking at the old one one day, like, that's an airplane.
it's even
mode.
funnier. IT looked at it and didn't figure
Yeah,
it
we couldn't figure out what
Just plug it in, Neil.
out.
it happens. But it's not an easy subject, but it's super important. So.
But I think we can amend that purchasing policy to include
Just
the
some ideas.
directive, like Sean said. That way you're not asking us, we're just gonna let you, you know, determine that.
Okay.
But we want to be a little bit more frugal with that money from 120 down to 15, you know, 7 months in.
The Cume Capital Development account does have a total budget, since that's mostly, something like, while we're on that page, it has IT. The capital outlays, that was added for project 124.
Sheriff Mark Carr, that's in two
The
places.
Sheriff Mark Carr is in 2 spots, it's also in public
That needs
safety.
to be in zero.
We had moved it, see if the adopted budget was 0. Those expenses had gotten moved to other funds. So those need to be zeros.
Okay.
The yearly revenue in Cume Capital Development is about $208,000. So that pretty much takes up all the professional services and IT upgrades.
That revenue will be most affected by the loss of property tax assessed value, because it is a rate-based.
I had that at 175 for some reason. I don't know where I got that.
Well, it's higher next year because our assessed value went up again. So, but as the new exemptions start to come on board,
It'll take a hit.
and we lose value, CCD, Cume Cap Development will, because we have a max rate, and that rate is multiplied, just you multiply that rate times the assessed value to come up with your revenue. And so if that number goes down, if the assessed value goes down, which I think it will next year, just because of the new exemptions, you're going to probably start to lose that. And when it goes to when we get to the point where 2/3 of homesteads are exempt and 1/3 of commercial properties are exempt, you're really, and then personal property taxes are very different. You should start, it could be more dramatically affected. We get more assessed value, it helps, but, you know, that's one that we may be, 208 may be the pinnacle for a while, of how much it gets. So you can increase the rate for that one, and it's outside the max levy. So you can increase that one outside the max levy if you need to. But that process has to start, I don't remember, we're beyond it. So we haven't touched that in a decade at least.
Maybe look at it for next year.
Might be, you know,
With
increasing demands.
And actually, one last thing on the IT, Convergent doesn't have a contract going into 2026. I know we spoke briefly about it. As Sean was just discussing, we can go to a 1-year contract with them, but if you go more years, you potentially can have some savings if, you know, your vendors know that you're committed for several years. And I don't know if Sean's got those numbers tonight, but I just wanted to run that by you as well.
Okay.
That he'll send me those contract numbers and I'll forward it to you guys to look at
That's fine.
before we sign it by the end of the year, because
I
we
have
want to make sure
several
we have
follow-ups to
somebody.
do on different areas, so it's
Okay,
no problem.
all right.
Thank you. Anything else?
No.
Do we have any major expenses expected in 26?
Yes, so your firewalls expire in March. So I'll try not to be boring, but that's the device that sits between the internet and your entire network that keeps all the bad stuff out and keeps all the secure traffic in. And so the devices you have are going into life again in March. I think we put those in 7 years ago. And so you've got 5 sites that need new firewalls, but that's also a 7 to 10 year investment for all those 5 sites. So the hardware should last 7 to 10 years. The licensing that's included in the numbers that I gave, that's 5 years worth of licensing. And we estimated high because we literally can't request an actual number until we're within 30 days of actually ordering it. So it could vary wildly, they won't honor anything. So we just had to kind of estimate high on all of those numbers.
How much are we looking at?
What's that?
How much are we looking at?
You're looking at 31,000 per site for 5 sites.
Okay.
And so you don't have to do all 5 at once. You can piecemeal that out. But when you do the courthouse, you've got to do the EOC at the same time because that's your replication sites where all of your critical data lives. But then over time, we could do the other 3.
So you could do like courthouse and EOC and like sheriff's department is like your top.
We could, yeah.
Your top 3 sites, and then like your health department, your who else is there? You got
EDC.
4-8.
KU.
Yeah, KU, yeah.
But how far can you space those out? I mean, if they're needing replaced, I don't want to wait, spread them out over 2 years and then.
You don't want to wait. And part of the problem here is they don't announce that the current devices are end of life until about 12 months before.
Okay.
So we learned over the summer, hey, the ASA firewall, which you have those 5 sites, those goes end of life in March. But again, the new ones, 7 to 10 year investment on hardware, 5-year investment on licensing.
How far in advance do you need to like order? Like if they go out in March and we say in January, are we going to be on a waiting list till like April to get equipment or anything?
10 days out.
Okay.
And if you order 5 at once, our vendor will give us a much deeper discount if we do 2, 1, 1, and 1.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
I like this business. I should have gotten into that business. I'll tell you when your stuff needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the price, but 12 months from now, you're gonna have to replace it. Won't work anymore.
Yeah. Planned obsolescence. It stinks.
Is there any
Kinda like
extension
lawyers
on
and doctors.
the Windows 10?
I'm good for another 10 years.
Yeah, so they're doing like a Windows 10 extended support for like $60-some per PC per year.
Okay.
You can do that. You've only got about 10 machines between the jail and then all the other sites that are still Windows 10.
Okay.
We would suggest replacing them if we want to do the $60 extension. We can.
Okay.
You said 10 machines?
Roughly. I think it's 8, but we're estimating 10.
$60 extension, what's that?
So Microsoft has put up, because people are not adopting Windows 11 fast
Pay
enough.
them money to keep the old system.
So it's for a year, you can get extended support. So it's really just critical patching for like $60 per machine for a year.
My computer at home keeps telling me yours ends in October. You cannot update your machine.
Yeah.
Great.
And understand too, some applications that you have will just stop working on October 10th. So yeah, you're gonna get security updates, but some of your applications on the 11th are gonna update for Windows 11 only, and there's no list of what those applications are.
When is that, this October?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, October 10th.
Oh, jeez.
Just get on October 11th, and if you can't use your stuff,
That's it.
you'll know you can upgrade.
Okay.
Mine are good.
All right. Anything else with IT?
No.
Nope. Okay.
Well,
Thank
Sean,
you.
looks like you can go home. You can
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Well,
Thank you.
I think the
Thank you
door's
for
locked,
writing.
so you won't be able to come back in.
Okay. I can if you need me to.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Commissioners.
Commissioner's Court.
Yep.
Can we just start with the fair board real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, we can. Matt's here. I
didn't see him back there. I apologize.
I got your text.
I skipped around him, I didn't see him back there.
Sorry for the wait.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, door was locked, so I got in late.
Oh. Didn't think about it first thing. All right. We have a letter from, it was to the commissioners and the council. The fair is requesting some increases this year. There was an option. They're looking into different carnivals. One was at 50,000 and one is at 30,000. From my understanding, the 50,000 is more of like a Vigo County size carnival.
It would come close to it,
And then the 30,000 is more of like the Covington Festival size.
but it would be a little more than that,
Little
but
bit.
about the same.
Okay. And then currently we have the budget for carnival is 25,000.
So currently, that carnival's not coming back next year, right?
Yeah, our contract with that carnival is up.
Okay.
We would much rather find a new one.
So since we have the 25, you're just asking for the additional either 5,000 or 25,000.
Yes.
Just want to clarify that wasn't on top of the.
No, not on top, altogether.
Okay. How soon do you have to have that like booked? Is it more than 1 year? Is it a multi-year contract?
It depends on the carnival operation. Usually they're all multi-year contracts. Our previous was 3 years. So it just depends on the carnival outfit, what they do, they plan. Most of them are multi-year.
I know in the past we've also had trouble finding carnivals available for like our specific dates.
Correct.
So are the dates up in the air for the fair based on the carnival, or are the carnival operators available at the time that,
No, the fair dates are set.
okay,
We did that to help us find a carnival. So that way the 4-H office wasn't in limbo and fair board wasn't in limbo. We have our set dates. We're going for carnivals for those dates.
okay.
I think 30,000 would be sufficient for Marion County. Honestly.
So it looks like the Fair Association also had an increase from 18,000 to 32,000 on the request. Can you give us any insights on the request for the increase?
Everything, just like everything nowadays, everything's more expensive. Just for an event to show up is more expensive, like the tractor pull itself for $8,500 is bare minimum.
So do most of those expenses then go to like the grandstand events?
Yeah, yep. Grandstand events and also advertising. We're working on advertising better to get more people to the fair and to these events. So it'd be like advertising, entertainment, so grandstand events, and overall running of the fair.
The 32,000, that would include the derby, the tractor pull, and the rodeo, right?
Yes, and every event in front of the grandstands is what that would
cover.
And I'll tell you, if you didn't attend it, the rodeo was very well attended, sanctioned rodeo, really nice. Derby always, fills the crowd. I even think the tractor pull done all right. I don't know that, like you said, the crowd, we're trying to get more people to the grandstands, because that's where you're gonna recoup some of this money.
How much you charge for them events?
$10 for, or 15 for grandstands and 25 for pits, I believe.
Did we give you, we gave 14,000 just right before the fair? Was that for a
Additional.
concert also, concert and tractor pull? And did I
No,
read-
that was for the tractor pull and,
Was it a concert? I had concert.
yeah, it was a concert as
Was
well. Yes, ma'am. Concert,
Was it that Garth Brooks?
the Garth Brooks cover band. Yes, ma'am.
So did you have good attendance for that? I mean, was it worth it?
The
Make any money?
the attendance varies. No.
No.
No. Darn,
The
we were hoping.
the day that it was on just wouldn't work for it, so we're restructuring on what days these events are held in coordinates with 4-H. Because a lot of these 4-H families would like to come to these events, so we're trying to coordinate with both and get it to be a better attended event for everybody.
Well, and to piggyback on the concert too, as you'll see on there's a $50,000 line item as well for a concert. The Fair Board has tried really hard the last couple of years. If you go to any concert, whether it's Georgetown, Paris, anywhere that has a good concert, they sell alcohol at these events. And they don't sell alcohol in the grandstands, they sell them in the pits, you're banded, you're ticketed, whatever the case may be. And there was I want to say disagreement with the town, town of Cuba, they now understand that they just need an exemption for that one-day event. And we are almost certain, and I know the Fair Board is, that you sell alcohol, you will raise money. And you can't take it outside of the pits, it's all thrown in the trash, it's not glass bottles, it's, cans, so that's something we're working on. And then the 50,000, I'd asked the Fair Board to put that in. I've been speaking to, what is that guy's, I'm gonna who's it now? Legacy Land Team, do you know who I can't think of the guy's name. But anyway.
Is it David? No.
I can't think, but anyway, he leases a lot of farm ground out at the Rise or hunting ground. He is very well connected to people like Craig Morgan, Jelly Roll, Rascal Flats, people like that. He has indicated to me that if the county would be willing to, put up a number, and he just threw out 50,000, that he could get someone here at a discounted rate to the county for potentially the fair. But if you get somebody like that, you want the, alcohol beverages being sold in there. Then the Fair Board might get to a point where they don't need to come and ask you for, 20, 30,000.
That was the proposal the last time the concert thing came up for agreement, and that was the thinking, is that you had the bigger concert, you make the money off it, you take that money from this year, you use it for the next year, and you keep turning it.
So we're currently working with a group, like if you've been to Edgar County, like Paris's concert, Georgetown Fair's concerts, and even all across Illinois and Indiana, there's a group that essentially brokers that for them. And you give them the 50,000 and they say, okay, this is what we can get. And they handle 100% of everything, stage, sound, getting the artist, everything. That's all included, and they have said that if there is no alcohol, the concert doesn't work. They said you might as well not do it. And then on top of that, with our stage setup and what we have in the grandstands and the way the fences work and everything, they said they've put on thousands of concerts, and they said we have a perfect venue for it, and getting a name person that people recognize. That's what drives people to attend. A Garth Brooks cover band didn't bring anybody, but if you get somebody that actually performs that is
Like Garth Brooks.
up and coming, or
Garth Brooks,
yeah.
we'll take breakfast.
Retirement tour?
I'll call you next week. So what portion of the sales goes, I'm sure it's not just $50,000. Is it half of the door, half the gate, on top of the 50,000? Or is it just?
Do we keep all the ticket
Do
sales?
we get to
then?
keep all the ticket sales?
Everything, all the
So
all
50,000,
the
that's it.
alcohol sales, all of the ticket sales, 100% of it is all profit. It all comes back.
I think that's it for the fair. I don't think there's any.
So basically, the Fair Association, Carnival, and the concert, we're looking at $130,000.
Yep.
Well, if you go with the,
Yeah,
If you go,
$30,000.
yeah, if you go with the Carnival A,
Yeah.
you would be, but if you go with the cheaper Carnival, you'd be a little bit cheaper.
Which the concert, in theory, would maybe be a one-time thing,
Yeah.
not like a perpetuating.
Right,
As
And
long as you come and buy some alcohol, no, I'm just kidding.
depends on who you get.
It's true, true.
You'll get that permit, for sure.
Oh, yeah, the state of Indiana, like, me or you, Kelly, could go get a one-day permit, and it's like, even if you put up like cones, as long as it's secured, but they're set up so well with the gated fence, they would put up security at like the exits. And if someone tries to carry a beer out, you just throw it away. Like, they're not allowed to leave the confines of that permit through the, for the state.
and that's why we'd use it inside the fence, and it would be its own entity. You can't be under 21 to get into that area, and to get out, there's somebody as the security there standing. If you can't have it with you, you gotta walk out, and that's how it is.
So do you have to,
Finally.
And Holcamp is also, Sheriff Holcamp has said that he would help provide
That would
pay you
matter.
on board?
deputies and reserves to help police that.
Cayuga, their issue was when it was portrayed to the town board of Cayuga, they thought that for whatever reason, they wanted to make the park alcohol friendly year round. And we said it's only for an event, so like if it's a concert or, I mean, even if you want to track people, you would only, you know, the Fair Association would apply through the Alcohol Tobacco Commission for a one-day, or if that group, whoever does it, it's a one-day event, and that insurance is only for one day.
It's not through the whole fairgrounds, it's the designated area for alcohol, not the entire fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Just that one area at that time.
Did you say that other fairs serve alcohol?
Oh, yeah,
For concerts, oh, absolutely.
absolutely.
But you're just planning on one day.
Just one day for that
You,
concert.
For the concert.
you wouldn't do it for a tractor pull or
Not the Derby drivers can't drink.
the Derby?
No, we can't do it at the Derby. It would be
That'd be chaos.
too many headaches. There are fairs, there are county fairs that do allow it,
Special event.
but the Derby drivers, when they're going on the track, get breathalyzed. If they don't blow zeros, then they can't run.
I mean, we know they're gonna
Talking about the
wreck.
drivers.
They're gonna wreck.
Let's talk
Collect
about
their
that.
fees first.
Well, I mean, in
It's-
theory, Kelly, you could do any event.
Yeah, in theory, you could do any, for sure.
That you want to do, but you'd be surprised, like talking to Georgetown or Edgar County, when they tell you the profit they make, it's hard to fathom when they make $25,000 or $50,000 in a one-night event in a small town of 5,000 people.
It's really hot that time of year.
Have you
They-
looked
they
into
s-
what it costs to bring in a alcohol vendor?
We have, yes. And the one that we thought would best fit our situation would be, they bring like a trailer, and they bring all the alcohol, and they just charge us for what they use. And then we would pay that to them, and we keep the rest of the profit.
What is the profit on that?
So 16, the best way to do it is how Edgar County would do it. They did the 16-ounce aluminum bottles, and you can get those for, at our cost would be $2.50 a piece, and we would sell them for $5.
Mhm. Good money maker.
So.
Cheaper than Major League Baseball
Thirsty.
game.
Way
Right.
cheaper.
I'm thirsty.
$20 at a game.
Yeah, it's-
Alright, anything else for the fair? Oh, no,
And Matt, does the fair have any preference on the Carnival A or B? I mean, or does it matter for you guys?
It doesn't necessarily matter, we just need to know what we're looking for. Because
So-
right now, we're currently looking, we still have our meetings as scheduled, and we have to look now, because if we wait until later on,
so
everything will be booked.
Carnival B, how does that compare to the size we previously had? Is it bigger or smaller?
It'd be bigger than last year's, than the last 3 years, it'd be bigger.
And do we make any money on Carnival ticket sales?
We didn't, or, yes, we did before. Yeah,
Well, this past year, you had several was like broke down.
yeah,
and there were some
we,
issues.
so it was, the carnival that we previously had issues. But yes, we would get ticket sales. Every carnival runs it differently.
Uh-huh.
Either they would charge a lower rate and they keep ticket sales, or we pay the lump sum and we keep ticket sales. It just depends on.
So
how
we
that
probably
carnival
wouldn't
runs.
generate $20,000 in ticket sales to make up for the difference between A and B.
No.
Probably not, you probably not in year one,
So-
not in year one.
Okay,
No,
so
but
most
in
likely
year
if we
one.
went with one, it'd probably be a B route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still better than what we had, but
Yeah.
obviously,
It would be better, it'd be a little bit bigger and a better quality. That's our biggest thing, is looking for a
Okay.
better quality.
so,
So would the fair board be able to start looking out based on that 30,000 number?
Absolutely. We've already been looking, just
Okay.
trying to see if something fits our dates. So it's all, now it's just up to price.
That's only $5,000.
Yeah,
Is there any way you could get like maybe a food truck or something when you do that beer night inside that same area?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that help also improve the?
Drinking in mine, yeah, people.
You know, if you had something to eat on,
Yeah, there could be numerous too.
and that'd generate a little money too, maybe, I mean,
Absolutely.
percent of it.
okay. Well, I would suggest we put the 30,000 on that line item then, versus the 50. I think that's more doable, especially if we consider the concert. That way it kind of gives you an idea too of
Yeah, the 32,000 in the entertainment and advertising line item there, all that is that's the additional 14,000 that we got directly before fair on top of what we already had. And that's how we come up with the 32,000 number, and that's what we operated on this year, and that ran everything, so.
I will say, like, I feel like Facebook showed me the fair advertising like too late.
Yeah.
Correct.
Um,
We already have new people in charge of advertising,
Okay.
we're working on different types of advertising.
Maybe it's just my feed
And-
that runs like 2 to 3 days
I
behind,
noticed it
It
too.
was,
but it was like,
we had the same issue, and it's
Okay.
gonna be completely different, and advertise early, advertise better.
Okay.
And we have people that are gonna be in charge of that. And even if the concert thing, if we go through the vendor we've already had discussions with, they can also do advertising for us and even run electronic tickets over your phone, because we get the question of credit cards. Well, as a fair board, we can't, so we're not set up for it. But if we run the advertising through the concert venue, then we could do it for every event of the fair, and they can advertise for the fair, and we could have more people that.
so they take over like the advertising for like the tractor pull too.
Correct, every event that we have for the fair.
Okay. I think some of it's just getting the word out there, and it's hard. It's hard on every aspect of the county stuff anymore to try to get the word out. So, Alright. Anything else? Alright. Thank you for your time.
Thank
No
you.
problem, thank you.
Thanks for coming, Matt.
Okay.
All right, let's make it quick, RJ.
Let's go, I'm tired, I wanna take a break. My feet's hurting over here. standing.
Oh,
I stand all day on concrete.
we've got new carpet, so it's much better.
Better pattern.
Increases. We have increase on basically required expenses per telephone went
Is the
up.
telephone up? Is that some of the new cell phones in that, you know, RJ?
Well, yes, so the telephone fund, I can tell you for sure, we were gonna run close this year, because Ine, our new veterans officer, fantastic job. She didn't have a cell phone, she took a cell phone. They're gonna pay it out of Commissioner's Court, but Jenny said we may run really close at the end of the year. But you may have to update that, but also, you know, Mike turned in his cell phone, so that phone's being taken off the plan, so, I mean, it might be a wash at the end of the year when you get down to it.
So I believe that she put it in hers.
Oh, did she put it in hers?
It would,
Oh, for
She had
next
like
year?
six, she had like
I
$600.
would think it would be
on hers.
easier to just keep it in there since
That's-
they're all in the same plan.
That's fine.
I mean-
Doesn't make a difference to us.
Okay.
Yeah, I know she didn't have anything, because past VA officers didn't have a fund, so we were just paying it this year out of,
He didn't have a computer.
what?
The professional services and fees was an increase of 40. Is there something that we absolutely know we have on that, or
Where's
is
this
that?
at? Professional services?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so that was moving, the 40,000 that you guys approved for, the engineering services. So at that time, I'd already submitted the budget, and we haven't done
Okay.
ours yet, so we
So
just.
that was the same thing we've already just did.
Yeah, so we just, instead, if you see in there, the engineer item is at 0, we just moved it from there to professional services, since his budget was already done,
And
so.
is that for HWC?
Yeah, that's what, well, no, that was RQAW we approved for that, for this year.
Okay.
HWC was getting paid out of the grant
Okay.
for the, yeah.
So you took it out of,
We just took it out of the line item that says highway engineer and just put it in professional services.
oh, up here. Yeah. Sorry, I had a sticky note over that one.
The highway engineer was at 40,000 because the state would match up to 40,000.
Now that I moved my sticky note, that's why I had it there.
It's right there.
It was also covering the longevity. So the longevity inadvertently got removed
Yeah.
from the budget. So it needs, the 60,000 needs added back
Yeah,
in,
that needs
correct?
put back in there, yeah, that was,
Okay.
yeah, that should not be.
I'm glad you mentioned my sticky note.
RJ.
Yeah, that's- But yeah, so that was just moving the money there, so, and then, above that, you'll see like the attorneys, we up that $500, I think for both attorneys.
Catherine Hamilton, we have a new number for
Yeah.
that. Misty Sandlin got us the email.
It's like 200,000 and some odd dollars.
They said, yes, it needs to be 200,000 and $174. 200, 174. Cross that out, and that is a set number that the state pretty much tells us that we are required to pay them for services.
Maybe we get some help from the state telling us that we don't have to pay
It'd be
that.
nice, wouldn't it?
That would be.
If
a
only
nice
they
thing.
would pay for the things they mandate.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
wouldn't that be nice?
What if you don't pay it?
Well,
I guess we can always do that.
always a good question, right?
You do.
Cars, I had an email
Don't
on
pay
that.
that.
The programs line item didn't go up. I'm not sure what's being paid out of there right now, but it used to be BIS, which is in here,
Mm-hmm.
Lao, Data Pit Stop, and Archive Social.
Mhm.
I don't know how I pulled those out. But those were the four that used to be paid out of there. I don't know what's getting paid out of there now. I did see there was an additional appropriation for BIS for tonight. I don't know if that's went up or if something else has been paid out of there. But when I budgeted last year, that was,
You're saying it came out of there?
yeah, I'm a rounder upper, so I assume that it was probably $135,700 or something, and I just rounded it up to
I can't,
137.
without looking at that additional, I probably signed it, but I can't recall if it
But
was 2 weeks ago.
I just, yeah, so I guess when we did the programs, those were kind of the ones that.
So you're saying the additional may not be needed is what you're saying?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
If something else has gotten paid out of there that I didn't budget last year,
Mm-hmm,
then we probably do.
okay.
Depends on what's been spent out of.
You'd have to pull the report, I'm not sure on that one.
So I don't know if any of that, I assume that Lao goes up, BIS goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Data Pit Stop doesn't usually too much, but I'm sure that 137 needs to go up.
Sure,
Only that number.
okay.
Unless- Unless you guys are paying other stuff out of there too, then.
Not to,
yeah.
not to my knowledge, but
Okay.
on the top part of that, nothing really changed on the 0130. Commissioners' pay was left the same. Council commissioners did, agree to up that $500, per member. You guys will leave that at your discretion if you want that, don't want that. We put that in there. Going down, Nixle 360, we don't utilize that system anymore. That's being cut. And that 4,500 going forward is going towards the Text My Gov service that is being utilized by department heads. And maybe even, that's gone, maybe we use it for the fair too. I didn't think about that, but we could use that for the fair as well.
Oh,
The Nixle?
No, the Text My Gov to like let the
Oh,
residents know
yeah, that's a
that
good
the
idea.
fair and, or say, hey, concert next Friday, you know.
That's all in the 911 budget, right?
Mhm.
He told us it was.
Yep.
You guys have any other questions on that top
No.
of the first page?
Overtime, is that enough overtime being budgeted or?
No.
10,000 probably not.
We've already, it's budgeted 10,000, we've already gone through that, plus another 10, and we have an additional
Another
10.
10,
in
so we're 30.
And that's
For
for the whole
October
county,
meeting.
and that's for the whole county, right? And that's not the, yeah,
It's
that's
the
for
whole,
the whole.
well, everybody, the sheriff's department has theirs in their
Well,
budget.
yeah.
And the other thing that we need to look at is your social security, your Medicare. Because anytime you pay overtime, I figured it on 10,000.
Yeah,
So realistically, those numbers are gonna have additionals. We can get down to the end of the year and see what's left
yeah.
near the end of the year, and you're going, oh, we're short.
Yeah.
You'll have to do additional in December, I would assume.
That's where we need to decide if we leave it as one big, or if we put it into individual budgets, so.
I say split it.
And right underneath Nixle 360, county website for 3,200. I reached out to, it used to be Daniel Elvey, he's our state treasurer now, his wife runs it. We haven't received a bill in a while from IntelliLeaks. We reached out to them, and apparently they haven't been billing multiple counties for at least a year. So just an FYI, we may, if we have money somewhere, we'll pay for it, but if we own the money.
You
we-
ratted us out? We didn't get billed?
Don't ask for
I'm just
bills,
kidding.
RJ.
Well, when we were going through the contracts, we were like, where's, IntelliLeaks
Thank you for
contract?
going through the
Yeah.
contract and realizing, but.
So, They may have a couple, unless they're gonna be nice and just tell us to waive the previous years of not paying, but anyway, they do a good job for us and they help all the department heads out, but.
So back to overtime, do we have an overtime policy as far
Yeah,
as
it's
the
in the
county?
handbook. Well, it's in our handbook, but there's multiple handbooks within the county because
Yeah,
the state
so
allows different departments to have different
Yeah,
handbooks.
so basically, the state allows the judge, well, I guess anybody in theory, anybody can do it, but in our county, the judge has a handbook, clerk's office adopts the judge's handbook, the prosecutor has a handbook, sheriff, you have your own handbook, so essentially the county handbook falls to the entire highway department, commissioners council, and then the remaining elected officials, department of DOC follows it. So I would say the majority of them follow it, but I mean, unless the state changes something, we can't really
But
stop.
basically, it just has to be approved by the department head, like overtime does, and then you could be paid out when earned or.
Yeah. Now, when we did update the county handbook, we, upon like Ash's request and talking to several members, we put in there about the, comp time, that it can be paid out whenever, because a lot of people want to hold it, and then we put in there, once it reaches a certain number, it's automatically
I think
paid out.
it had already said that they could be paid out
Yeah,
if
it did.
it was approved by their like supervisor.
But a lot of them didn't quite know that.
The part that we wanted to make sure was accurate was if you reach the maximum amount, it had to be paid out immediately.
So we added that language in there, so now if someone reaches that threshold,
Okay.
they're immediately paid out. Billy immediately pays them out the
Because
next.
we had a maximum number of hours, and occasionally things would go over. So once you hit that max number, it's
So they have no choice; they're getting paid out on their next pay. That way, it'll try to keep that number down a little bit.
on your second page. There's a few
That's
more.
just hourly, folks, right?
Correct.
Yep.
The increases, discretionary funds.
Yeah, the commissioners have met, we went through this, there were some things, Misty and Bill had asked if the commissioners could, and Misty, feel free to hop in on this. The commissioners, there was some, polos that, were bought that said, commissioner this, commissioner that. Commissioners have no fun for that. There was talks about, back in the day, the commissioners used to host, and I think Vigo does this to an extent, like, I won't say a Christmas party, but they would do something where they would feed something for the employees of the county, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, and we just have no funds to do any of that. So we thought about just throwing $1,500 in there to see if you guys would be open to having a little bit of discretionary funds that we could have at our leisure to do stuff like that
So
with.
this is like kind of like your office supplies.
Tablecloth with like our county commissioner logo on it for events, so we can go and be prepared.
And
we're
you
not
check
sitting-
with State Board of Accounts on what you can spend it
I
on?
don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
Not-
Should have some of my exit interview last
You
week.
need to
but-
check that because they look, I know some of that stuff is probably not covered.
They got picky one year on it.
Well,
So just make sure you just
yeah,
check
I
before you
would, if you would grant us the 1,500, we'll definitely check, and
Sure.
before we purchase anything, make sure that it's,
I just
above.
wonder how that gets paid then, like, because, like, if you're at an event for the council, like, you don't wanna be sitting there with no table, or like, you know what I mean, it's not professional.
Yeah.
I agree.
So how
Oh,
does
I
that
agree.
work? I
It
mean,
may
how
be
do they
considered an
do
office
that?
supply, like some of those things may be
Oh,
just
yeah,
fine.
Yeah,
You know, but
Yeah,
Okay.
versus
yeah, it's all how it's coded.
Coded.
Got
It's
it.
kind of like Medicare.
That was our thought though. So.
Okay.
okay. The next one was the fair carnival, the concert.
Can we skip on a couple of these and then come back to,
Which ones?
I'm sorry, I want to get on a rant real quick. This rant, I believe,
Oh, the
if my memory serves me correctly, is the extra for the coroner's office that he's not using in the health department.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned.
I would like to have the commissioners look into that and see if we can get that office out of there. We don't want to, if they're not using it, why are we paying? We're paying for something we're not using.
Okay.
So that needs to be relooked at.
I'll talk-
And if
Can we renegotiate?
renegotiate
that?
on
I'll talk to Dr. Wheat and ask him before we,
Yeah.
call Union Hospital, say, hey,
'Cause
are you not using any of this? Or I don't even know how
Check
many
with Wendy.
offices he has.
Check with Wendy. I was down there at a meeting and it's empty, so
Is it just one office?
Well, what about the whole,
I'm pretty sure, I don't know.
the whole backside of that building where the ambulance was at? 'Cause then we were paying the lease, and then when Eric was here, he was paying us for his part of it.
Yeah.
But so are we still renting the whole back of that building not being used?
I don't know. I just need to check.
Honestly, that
Please
was
check.
a.
I think we are.
Honestly,
So
Rick
maybe something
Luther
we need to
handled that entire
Yeah, check out to Union and
contract, so
make sure we're just paying for the space we have currently.
sure I can follow
Where
up
is
on
the
that.
ambulance?
They're at the rent.
Is it?
It's in the public safety.
Public
Okay.
safety.
Just to back up real quick on those like Christmas parties and things like that, I've seen some counties, I won't say who, but some counties, they have sponsors,
Okay.
like consultants, people like that that attend, and they pay for everything, especially the Christmas parties.
Sure.
And then they also have like vendors will provide door prizes,
Okay, that's a good idea.
hats and things that the employees can win door prizes.
Sure.
So all your vendors that you use, fuel suppliers, Caterpillar, tractors,
That's a good idea.
whatever. But usually there's like one major
Vendor sponsor.
somebody that will sponsor the
Okay.
party. So it may be in addition to what you have.
Yeah.
If it costs more.
Okay, awesome.
And you might check that, that might be the ambulance, the Clinton.
The
In that
1870.
line item, I don't know where that, yeah, I'm not sure what's being paid out of that line item, I guess, is where I'm going with that.
Okay, I'll check where that rent's coming from.
Thank you.
Just trying to think if there's anything else on there. Training and conferences, we got 3,500 in. In the past, normally only one commissioner went. I know this year I'm attending several events. Misty's attending several. I think Commissioner Peebles will as well. So that 3,500 may get eaten up pretty quickly because I think
35,000.
35,000.
for
I think that was a typo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yeah 3,500 is what.
Okay, I'll change that.
Yeah, well, 35 is what I'm looking at here at mine. That's why I said 3,500.
Yeah, this one says 35,001.
Yeah, no, that's too much for conferences. I don't need that much. I'm not going to Miami or anything. But I do know, like, just like the ICC conference, AIC, down, you know, French Lick, your room's like $200-300, and you got to pay $200 to register. So you're at $400 or $500 per person per event. And that's $1,500 ate up, and that's just one conference. So, and I don't know if that needs increased at all, but I just food for thought that going into next year we might need more.
Can we not put that in the training fund for the other elected officials?
I don't know, we've never had them in there, so
Because we have like other elected officials in like a other
in
fund
the
for training.
1217, there's a 1217 fund, which is
I don't know why you're not on the
an
list.
elected officials training fund.
Commissioner's at the bottom of the barrel. Come on.
Well, and council wasn't on it.
We can maybe transfer you over to that line. So it may not be, you may not see it on Commissioner's Court. It may just
Okay.
end up being over with the other
And the
trainings.
1217
Yeah.
fund
1217 fund.
training.
Elected.
We won't leave
officials
you out,
training, yeah.
but
Okay.
it just may be in a different location.
That's
I just know that before the council was never included in it, and when I went to a meeting last year, they said council is now included, so we added it last
Okay,
year.
good.
But
Well,
I don't
there's
know about
not-
commissioners,
Yeah, well,
they
that's
didn't say.
We'll see.
So-
We'll have to find out on that,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
we'll leave you training somewhere.
Sure. And then I don't think we have anything in the Park Vermillion Humane Society. We left at 50,000. I believe that's a good.
There's a new line.
Where are we at? Oh, Vermillion Reasons Why podcast. So that was something that was done by previous economic development. Something that got kind of taken off the ground and was doing really well. And then when when Doug had left, I don't know if Amanda, she might have kept it up a little bit, but ultimately that's what it cost to run that podcast for the whole year. This year we received a grant from Vermillion County Community Foundation to fund it for the second half of this year, so it's being ran right now. But the commissioners are agreeing, we would like to see that program continue, so, and maybe going forward, if there is, economic development, it can be paid out of a different fund, but we do like that podcast, and we believe it brings a lot of good things. It's being hosted by JLJ Media, so he's the host doing all of it. He hasn't flew out yet, but he plans to come out and do an event here at a podcast right here in the commissioner's courthouse, maybe go to the sheriff's department, do one.
I know nothing about podcasts. Is that something you know how many people listen to it?
Yeah, so he's got all the data analytics, so if he sends it to me, I can send it to you, but I don't have it.
So how many were listening to it before?
I don't know. It was something crazy, like,
It was well listened to.
yeah, I want to say 8 states or something, because he can pinpoint the states. I don't know if he can pinpoint the towns exactly, but I mean, you can download it. It's on the your app store, so he can tell you. I don't know if it goes down to demographics like male, female, stuff like that, but I do know he can target the states.
Do we have a link on our website?
Vermillion Regional, I don't know if we have yet or not.
Oh, speaking of the website, since we talked about that earlier, is it possible to add CASA onto the website somehow?
Just another tab.
Because
yeah.
they have Facebook, but they don't have any other way for anybody to find their
Yeah,
number,
who
information, volunteer
runs our
thing.
CASA?
Caitlin
Wells.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can send Caitlin an email. Basically, I just CC Laura Elliott on it, and then she
Okay.
just builds, because the Veterans Office didn't really have a page, and she built one.
Because that was something that came up earlier today.
Sure.
How much money is Park County putting into the humane shelter?
Do what?
The humane shelter, how much is Park County putting in there?
Less than us, I know that. Used to, they put in only like 10 or 15,000. They've upped it a little bit over the years, but I want to say we're about half. I would, if I had to guess without texting Roy Reitzman and asking him, I'd say 25, 30,000 if I had to guess. The goal years ago was to be, you know, equal on each county, but Vermilion County does utilize it more than Park County, and that's their argument is that
Are
the
they
dog.
open? Are they open?
Yes.
Are they taking dogs?
Yeah, are they taking dogs?
Well,
Okay.
I will say
I just
they.
know there's been issues, that's all. I don't know anything
Yeah,
about
so-
the issues.
So the board, not to go down the rabbit hole too much, but about a year ago, there was a big issue at the shelter. It's been revamped, the board's been revamped, their internal bylaws ended up putting 2 commissioners, one from each county on there. Me and Jim Meese serve on that now. We have a great manager there now, but if they are not taking animals, it is due to the fact that there is no room. So they're looking at, they would like to renovate or add on, or build a whole new shelter, but they don't have the funds for that, so they're kind of waiting on, you know, some people passed away and left endowments to them, but they're kind of waiting for that fund to build up.
Is this enough money for them to operate?
Well, I mean,
are they killing a lot of dogs?
What's that?
Are they killing a lot of dogs up at our shelter?
I know we're not a no-kill shelter because some animals come in, like James is in here, one of the board members, but you know, if an animal bites a bunch of people or, you know, staff. And
I get that, but I mean, they got enough money to feed the dogs anyway.
Yeah, but I would say if you cut this 50,000, it would hurt them, and I don't know where they would cut. You know what I mean? I don't know where they would cut. Like, I know their staffing's tough because they can only pay like $11 an hour, and you couldn't pay me $11. I mean, you've got to love the animals to go in there and like.
Passion.
I'd be okay with giving them a little more, honestly.
That's up to you guys. I mean, I know a few years ago we bumped it from like 30 to 40 and then 40 to 50. I mean, they're appreciative of the 50, and that's why when they sent us a letter, you know, they said, we're not asking for any more, but they would love more. But they also understand with Senate Bill 1, you know, things are getting cut, so they're happy with the 50. But I mean, anything you can contribute, because, you know, costs are up everywhere for
Food
medicine.
keeps going up for animals, I mean.
Yeah, so they try to like make a trip to like Indy to get like some of their, you know, animal food and stuff, because they get a bigger discount in Indy, so they'll like save some money and then take the van they got and drive over there. And
Can you
just,
renegotiate that rent? Then we'll just transfer that over to Humane Shelter.
I can,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'd like to do that.
yeah, we can work on that.
And I could be, like I said, I could be
Could be
all
wrong.
wrong. I could be that,
Oh,
that might be the.
But regardless, if Dr. Wheat doesn't need it and we can renegotiate it, $2,000-3,000, we can maybe move it over
Sure.
to the.
How are they gonna try to build that addition? What money are they gonna try to use for that?
Well, so they had an endowment left to them from somebody that passed away that left a pretty substantial amount of money, but it's only probably 25-30% of what they need to build. Now, they could renovate and add on, but right there at that corner, I think it's just kind of a tough spot to renovate. You know, I'd give them the idea about maybe going into the Rise and, you know, repurposing one of those buildings, you know, out there in the Rise, and then the shelter. Well, the sheriff's gone now, but we talked about turning that into a training center for Park and Vermilion County, you know, sheriffs, and they could use some of their funding to bring that up for a training center for both deputies and reserves.
So we
So-
have
Okay,
one more item really on yours is Thrive.
yeah, I want.
I got one more too. When you're
Okay.
You got
done.
it? You got it too?
Whoever
Okay.
wants to start. Or
So we're on slightly limited time.
Yes.
Because of
whoever
our
wants to
reopening.
go, we can
But-
tackle whatever.
Rick, do you want to? I don't know what you have.
Do we have any funding in here for names of the service?
It's
Where
in
is
the-
it gonna
It's
go,
in
or how's it
the
gonna
public
go?
safety.
All in public safety,
It's in public safety.
for buildings and all that.
So we still have the improvement fund. So there's a little over 700,000 left in the improvement fund. And so that money was set aside to either apply for grants or to actually build a building. So that's still sitting in there. What that was from is when we had the ARPA money. ARPA had limited uses. We basically reimbursed the health insurance. Then we kept the other money separate. So any money that we basically reimbursed our county expenses with it, we set that aside, and what we have left is the $700 and some thousand in there. So that way there is money set aside in case we pursued, like, I know the grants have been talked about in the
Yeah.
past, or just
So the
outright.
improvement fund, that's approved by the commissioners and the council, right?
Mhm.
Correct. Rick, to follow up on that, you know, we done that countywide survey, 400 and some responses. The commissioners are reviewing them. An email went out to them last week. To Christy Gerald, we're looking at that grant that you can either build a new building or renovate a building if we find one adequate for purchase. So that's moving along. We talked about a potential another ambulance, we talked about a county-owned service, but that's a lot of stuff I don't want to throw that all at you here, but that is moving forward, and those emails and discussions are taking place right now by the board.
Priority.
Yeah, it's definitely top burners, but I told the commissioners last commissioners meeting that they need to review all that and let's move forward, and that's what we said in the email, so we're working towards that. And what was your next one you said?
Thrive.
Drive.
So we had 40,000 in the budget, which is what we paid last year, but then the health department also contributed 40,000. Their funding got cut, so they have no ability to help out with that for this year. So I know it got brought up at your meeting. Bill's here for Thrive too. So I guess we need to know what the commissioners are wanting to fund through Thrive. Some of those requirements, last year, we didn't have anybody here, and so we thought we could maybe get rid of a few services, but then when we found out that some of those are required for community crossing grants, so we put them back in.
Yeah, I think.
We just need some guidance on which direction to go.
Yeah, I think, and Misty, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the small amounts on there, we do not want to cut because those small amounts are very instrumental to
That's
a
what we kind of
lot.
figured
And I
last
think
year.
your big cost is going to be the transportation, and I know Misty and Bill, I think we're all pretty much in agreement.
Yeah, I can address that. In fact, a couple other things, if I mention what I can while I'm up here. I'd like to give a plug for the surveyor mentioned on the webpage, drop down under economic development, and there's hyperlinks there you can click to go to a lot of documents that needs to be fleshed out, but it's a very good start. I set something like that up at the chemical depot about 25 years ago. It's a very good program. I really appreciate what he's doing there. And if I can back up on something, you're talking about some money maybe to do a Christmas program or something sponsored by the Vermillion County Commissioners, maybe some sponsors promoting that. If it's Vermillion County, fine, but I'm pretty sure if you call it Vermillion County Commissioners, probably some election finance laws are going to kick in. I would advise staying away from that. So on Thrive,
I'll follow up on that in a minute. That's fine. That's fine.
on Thrive.
Yeah, Thrive's kind
Yeah,
of.
so I am Bill Reynolds. I am now here representing the Thrive board. So as RJ mentioned, what you have there is 3 categories. There's for the aging, service for the aging. There is some transportation planning, where they do traffic counts and stuff like that. There's also some general economic development stuff that they do. And this is actually a request was sent to the commissioners back on June 30. The numbers are in here, but he also included a 2024 end-of-year report on what had been accomplished, and that showed a return on investment of 44-1. Now, some of these are programs that we benefit from that are not direct pay, but the programs that Thrive operates, we do get direct benefit in the county from. So the first 3, they're essential, things like community crossings grant. Without their traffic counts, we are not going to qualify for those grants. There's some other categories as well. So RJ is exactly right. Those 3 are essential. So the only discretionary things come down to transit. And last year, Health Department did put in 40,000. This year they don't have it. So it falls down to us and any other funds that we can find. So the number for transit, there's 42,000. The total is 64.5 essentially thousand. But for transit, it's 42,000 and some change. My understanding is the Clinton City, they met last night. Had another meeting I attended, so I was not there. The feedback I got is that Clinton City is willing to put in 21,000, excuse me, half of that 42. 21,000. They did not make a commitment at the meeting last night, awaiting what the council decides to do. So I anticipate, hopefully, they can follow through with that if you guys are willing to fund the rest of it. Now, in addition to that, we have applied for a grant. Ryan Keller, CEO at Thrive, submitted a grant application to Apex Clean Energy. Of course, grants, you don't know what you have until you get it, so that's a possibility. But given the moratorium in spending, I would say that is even less certain, so we have no certainty there at all. What I'm asking is, on this entire $64,499, I'm asking for I'm asking for the 64,499 minus 21,000.
Have you talked with, I had a meeting, like I said, down at the health department, and Anthony, last name, Mark Mesner's right-hand person.
Oh, yeah, remember that,
He
yeah.
acted like there might be some federal money available.
But I don't know about that. Yeah, I have no knowledge.
How
of
many
that.
days a week is that, Bill, for that rule?
Well, last year, we did not fund it to the level that was requested. Originally, it's 5 days a week, but we negotiated with the funding. We were able to provide between us and the health department's contribution 3 days a week. So it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which makes it a little inconvenient in that you have to call a couple days ahead of time to get scheduled. So it's not an Uber service by any means. With 5 day a week service, it'd be more immediate ability to catch a ride, but it is 3 day a week. And if we maintain this level of funding, we can maintain a 3 day a week. To go 5 day a week, they're looking for another 28,000. Now again, everything here are grants. This is match money. Okay.
Okay, so it's 3 days a week.
3 days a week is what they have now, and this would enable us to continue at a 3 day a week level.
Oh.
Okay, so the 64,499 that you see on page 3, minus the 21,000 Clinton City, and that's a hope and prayer that they come through on
So
that.
if Clinton City did contribute the 21,000 for the total amount on the letter, it is just an increase of $3,500.
How much?
3,500. So,
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
like
as far as the commissioners is,
Well, that's something, are you done?
Have you
with your
guys
presentation?
talked-
Well, not yet, I think we're still working the numbers.
Well-
43.5, or 23.5, I guess would be our, 43.5 would be our part.
43.5 is the difference between what you have, we're rounding.
Right,
We're
yeah.
not going 49.99.
Right.
So minus the 21K, it's 43.5. We've got 40 in there, so it's a 35.
Yeah, 40 last year, so it's just a slight increase.
Well, I would encourage, Thrive representation here, that this is the commissioner's budget, and, I mean, if you're done, Bill, I'll step back in to speak on behalf of the commissioners. The 21,000, we would have appreciated that number, if you could have emailed the commissioners and let us know that.
did you say they just met last night though?
Excuse me?
When did Clinton City talk about last
Clinton
night?
City Council met last night,
Okay,
and I was not in attendance, as I said, I had another board meeting that I was at.
and they haven't confirmed it though
They've
yet.
not confirmed, pending what the council decides, so they're looking at making up the difference.
Okay.
So I think that's where they are, but we won't know until they decide. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. So yeah, the commissioners, I was hoping Bill could be here. He got forced into, I don't want to say overtime, but they're in a shutdown at IP. If we don't need an exact answer today, I'd like to ask the council to give us a few days to email each other. And now if Clinton City comes through with 21,000, I'm sure Missy could attest that we would be all in favor of you guys, footing that $3,500 increase. I know rural transit's a big thing for people that can't afford to drive.
So
get
you're in favor
groceries.
of keeping the transportation crew?
I personally,
Yeah, I think the
mean, it's
board-
gonna impact.
She's with Bill not here.
Yeah, so like Bill, we'd ask, all commissioners to come, because Thrive was probably the biggest thing in our budget that, that cost was 64,000. So we want to make sure each commissioner was able to speak on that.
Okay.
But if you give us a couple of days, I can email and text, call Bill, see what he thinks. But if Clinton City, I can talk to, Mayor Moore. If they're gonna commit 21,000, I think that makes our decision a lot easier on the county side.
Does anybody know what percentage of these were Clinton City?
I would probably say, I would say a lot, and I know, you guys were here last year, we had a little bit of an issue, with Thrive when we requested some of this data. When that number came to us, when we didn't have that data, who was utilized, stuff like that. We eventually got it, but we was hoping to have that when that request came.
21,000
Can
would
I
be
answer that question?
half the
Yes.
local match
Yeah,
for that.
Clinton City, actually, some numbers were put together and provided to Clinton City, and they're about 80% of the writers. They're also about the majority beneficiaries for a lot of those people going to grocery stores, Walmart, the businesses in town do benefit from that. So we do have those numbers. Clinton City, and I think Fairview probably is not differentiated, is probably included. That's 80% or so of the writers here. So
And that's from
that's the
Clinton,
reason we went to them.
from Clinton out of town. Right, that's not just Clinton to Clinton.
Some is Clinton to Clinton, some are Clinton out of town, and
Really?
actually some of the writers are coming
In town.
from Vigo County in to shop in Clinton.
I like West
So
Terre
there's
Haute.
that as well.
I mean, North Terre Haute.
RJ, I have a question for you.
Sure.
If,
Thanks, Bill.
if they're able and I don't know how the operations
Yeah.
correlate, what they do with what the commissioners
Yeah.
have to say about it, Ms. D, you're here too. If they get this grant money, any kind of grant money, if we can lead them on to some federal money, and that increases would you prefer us to reduce ours, or would you prefer to increase service?
Service, good question. I don't know that I have a right answer
Okay.
for you right now. I mean, I
Just a
think
thought.
3 days a week is a
That's
good
enough.
number. I mean,
think so.
I don't know that I need to go to 5, because I think if you're offering a free service and you say 3, but if you give them 5, then they might go, I can go on Friday. But if you give them 3, they're gonna make sure they have to pick one of those
They can
days.
plan for that.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
So the problem is, the southern part of the county's getting service, but the northern part of the county's not getting service. We really need to focus a little bit there somehow, some way.
are they discriminating against the north end,
No,
They just don't typically go that far.
and it's not,
even if they're called?
they are, it is going up north, it is going up north.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, I met with them too. It is going up north. And again, when I met with Anthony, he also explained that Fountain County has something that we might be able to piggyback on.
I was saying that's where most of the people are
So-
getting service from Fountain County.
They have a federal program that, if I remember what he said correctly, again, don't quote me, I believe their Fountain is using the federal program.
Okay.
They're using something. I don't know what they're using, but
Okay.
just,
Well, I do know, like Ryan will tell you, when this vehicle goes up north, they want to make sure they've got more than one rider, which I understand, but at the same token, if we're paying for it, these citizens should be able to utilize
Right.
that service. But I do know, like up in Cayuga, you're more likely to go to Tilton, Danville, Perrysville's
Covington.
going to Covington or Danville, they're not going to Terre Haute.
But, yeah, you're right. But I do know there are some that do go to Terre Haute, but it's very difficult for them to get a ride, even though they call days or weeks ahead of time. Sometimes those get canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been my experience, and I shared that last year.
That's something we need to ask Ryan is, how many people north of, say 36, for instance, how many people are getting canceled on rides? Is there, or do we need to do something to say, hey, they need a minimum of 5 riders?
Something to work on.
Yeah.
another thing that was brought to my attention was if you have an appointment, a doctor's appointment somewhere, they can get them there on time. But a doctor, you say, okay, pickup time is 2 hours later, whatever it is, and the doctor runs over, they don't stay.
Oh, really?
That's what I was told.
Oh, wow. Well, I know most doctors do run over. I don't know that I've been to a doctor's appointment. They've seen me on time.
I don't use it, this is all hearsay, so I don't have a clue.
I'll talk to
Well, if
Ryan.
you will
Yeah, if
follow
you-
up
yeah.
and make sure, like.
Yeah, if you give me
get
a
back
few
to us
days,
on
maybe
that.
end of the week, I'll email the whole council,
Yeah.
all the commissioners, all the commissioners' thoughts. So,
Bill,
missed anything else?
when would Clinton City, do you know, that's news to me about Clinton City. Do you know when their next council meeting is, when they would actually go through with
Once
that?
a month.
I put an inquiry in to ask when is their, adoption.
Uh-huh.
So they're open until then, but I don't know what that, they haven't gotten feedback yet.
Okay, so they do have it in their budget, they just haven't adopted it yet?
Oh, I think
Well, I don't know all the particulars, but it's under consideration pending what we do with the intent to make up at least part of the gap. Hopefully it's that 21.
Okay.
That was the word I got, was a 21.
Okay,
But nothing there is in stone until it's adopted. Same as our budget.
okay.
We're talking numbers here, but officially.
All right, well, if someone will just follow up with us, let us know.
Yep, I'll sit with you guys by Friday.
Okay, anything else for the commissioners?
No.
Nope. Well,